Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome to Between the Headlines. I'm your moderator, the well-rounded Dennis Jai, and tonight we confront a series of developments that strike at the heart of Liberia's security architecture, institutional credibility, and international standing. Across the country, the pressure is rising. Public Advocate Martin K.N. Coleman is intensifying calls for Inspector General Gregory Coleman to resign or recuse himself, citing conflicts of interest and demanding accountability at the highest level of law enforcement. But in a sharp contrast, President Joseph Newman Boakai has stepped forward, expressing full confidence in Coleman and the national security team, signaling that the administration is standing firm behind its leadership. Meanwhile, new developments continue to unfold in the Minnesota investigation involving National Port Authority Managing Director Sekou Dukuly, raising questions about governance, credibility, and Liberia's international reputation. And tonight, we revisit a deportation agreement between Liberia and the Trump administration, an arrangement that continues to shape immigration policy, reintegration challenges, and diplomatic relations between the two nations. These are not isolated stories. They form a single thread, the struggle for public trust in Liberia's institutions. Let's dive in as I welcome the new progressive commentator, Dr. Clarence R. Pearson. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dennis. It's a pleasure to be on the show tonight. I want to say hi to all our video viewers out there and listeners. Look, it's a pleasure. Join us and let us have a good time tonight on these conversations.
Thank you. And by the way, Dr. Pearson will be wearing two hats tonight. He will be co-moderating with me, but that is not going to stop him from also airing his opinion on the issues. Let me welcome our banking and finance expert for Focus on Liberia. You can call him Focus on Liberia CFO, Gabriel M. Tabito Carter. Welcome, Gabriel.
Dennis, good to be here. I'm looking forward to having a great conversation. There's a lot that is happening in the country, and I'm glad to be here with the rest of the panelists to give our opinions on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me also welcome somebody who is becoming known now as the vociferous Tao. Mr. Tao, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, gentlemen, and hi to our viewers. I'm glad to be here to be part of the discussion.
Thank you. Last and definitely not the least, let me introduce someone I met over 30 years ago, the Dr. Jones Otavius Mali Sr. He is the Senior Education Analyst on our sister network, LPR. Welcome, Dr. Mali.
Oh, thank you, moderator. It is a pleasure to be among these thought-provoking gentlemen tonight to share our views, which of course form part and parcel of the development of Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you. We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. If you want to get the best, tune in to Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. The reason we exist is to create a more informed and enlightened Liberian society that attracts the world. Very shortly, we'll also be joined by the political bulldog from Monrovia, Mr. Anthony C.A. He's going to be joining on. But gentlemen, let's dive in. A lot is happening, and let me bring in my co-moderator and also panelist tonight, Dr. Clarence Pearson, to talk about the rising the pressure on Gregory Coleman to either resign or recuse himself.
Thank you, Dennis. I think that's a very interesting topic. Trending conversation that I've seen on the internet so far suggests that some individuals seeming to be building up a counter critique of Martin Colley. I have not seen that in a long time, but it seemed consistent. It seemed well calculated, as though it's a deliberate effort of some people to shut him down. And I see it coming in many ways. Some are saying, look, we're tired with your writing. Stop giving us too much information. Some people are accusing him of providing misinformation and false allegations. But what I see, Dennis, is that with all of those criticism coming in against Martin, I would have thought that there will be Liberians out there who would be more concerned about the substantive issues relative to those facts that are surrounding the call for Gregory to step aside, and those facts include command and responsibility in a society where you are the head of infrastructure of an institution, and the institution has been breached to the degree where the head of the highway patrol is compromised, cocaine is being escorted with police vehicle with taxpayer money, head of criminal crime and investigation section commissioner is compromised. So who look out for those internal crimes being committed in the country to give him update? That's compromised. Commissioner for intelligence and including Interpol and other things compromised under his watch. And so there are more that he has to answer for, coupled with today's revelation where Martin is showing that there is a foreign asset within the national security fleet of vehicles of our government. When you have the cartel, as we call them now, penetrating our state, and then you have people operating foreign assets within the legal assets of the country, that's a problem. Same thing with Biago. And that's why Biago got suspended. It's not that they say he was identified with the cocaine itself, but the fact that he had a compromised asset amongst our national security asset, that alone is something for him to answer for honor, command, and responsibility. So I think those are the issues that are unfolding. And Martin now either will have to bow to pressure that is being well calculated against him, or some of us will have to come to his defense, and necessarily trying to make someone guilty in the public, but to make sure that we continue to ask the hard questions and nobody is stifled.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Mali, Martin Colley has by now has distinguished himself as an advocate who's calling, even though sometimes people question, his fairness, but he played a big role in getting Biago out, who's the LDEA boss. Now it's on Gregory Coleman. He's giving pictures and vehicles, showing video footages of Gregory Coleman with a lady who said, saying with all kinds of accusation. Dr. Mali, do you find Martin Colley credible?
No and yes.
Let's start with the no.
Yeah, no, in the sense that I tried to portray him up as one of the conspiracy theorists in Liberia. And I've been wondering whether he's the practical moral voice on issue of sensitive nature like this. I'm saying this because moving to the issue of yes, Spoon TV sent a delegation, or I think they contacted their point person in Minnesota, who have been conducting some extensive research on Mountain Collins's allegations. And they were able to meet two police stations, try to verify. They put in access requests to get information. And the people categorically deny that they have neither have they at any point in time sent a police vehicle of such nature to Liberia, nor do they have any contact with Liberia. And they stated the case number and other things. So what I'm saying here is that I don't know whether Martin Colley is the moral voice on such a sensitive issue. So the issue of credibility is yet to be established. But I see him to be one of the activists. But is he because when you are propounding on certain things and you don't come up with the facts to substantiate and maybe get people to see reason in championing your case, then it becomes a problem, you see. So his credibility, I'm finding problem with we're adding up some of the pieces in there, even though he succeeded with the first one, but this one are a bit critical because people are now sending people on fact findings, and some of the fact findings are contrary to this issue. Where the car actually came from, it came from a business dealer, according to Spoon Five Finders. Okay? But he's saying it was from the police. So I find it difficult to connect the dot. And that brings me to the point of seeing him with a very different lens now. The issue of credibility. Is he the moral voice to really speak on this issue?
You're muted.
Mr. Sia has joined us from Monrovia. Mr. Sia, you are on the ground. If you don't mind, please walk us through what Martin Colley is saying about the police IG, Gregory Coleman.
Martin is direct. He is not holding back. And according to him, they have facts and evidence, in his words, that put the police IG in a compromised position. He's also asking for the police IG to resign. One of his pieces that he wrote today, he said, this is the first nail in the coffin of the police IG. He is trying to nail the police IG with what he classifies as facts, hardcore evidence in his possession. And he has ever since released some of these that he considered, or some of those he considered as hard evidence. But many are questioning those facts. Many are disputing those facts. And that is what the whole nation is talking about right now. There are others who have reason to believe that these facts, as Martin continue to provide, are bringing serious question to the credibility of the police IG. For example, there is a gentleman who was bribed with $10,000, and the police IG immediately acted. This gentleman, given that he was bribed by the cartel, something that has been confirmed by the police IG, he has not been indicted. He's not in jail. He's like a free man, according to Martin Colley. And the question he's asking is why? And he has this very close proximity to the police IG. If that man was bribed, confirmed by the police IG, for which the state acted in no time to remove him from his position. Why is it that he has not been prosecuted?
Yep.
And then he went further to now former LDEA boss Biago. All right. Martin provided what he considered as hardcore evidence against him with an involvement with a pickup truck, I believe, that was given to him allegedly, or according to Martin, given to him by the drug cartel. That led to his recusal. He recused himself. The president acted in no time and replaced the man who had just recused himself because he found himself in a compromised position. Again, that was Martin Coleman providing what he considered as hard evidence. So there are a lot of Liberians who feel that he has some credibility. And the fact, Dennis, is that Martin has been on this road for a long time. He did the same thing during the confirmation period, right? When the government were appointing officials, and one person he actually zeroed on was now Foreign Affairs Minister Beslo Yenti.
Yep.
And today, people believe that Martin was right and the information he provided were factual, except that the government decided to go with her as their Minister of Foreign Affairs. So there are many people, and I have been following Dennis, because this is something we have committed ourselves to provide factual information to our people. Anytime Martin will post, 5, 10, 15 minutes later, he will be having up to 900 comments, 900 shares. This is how much interest the nation is following the information he's providing. One last thing before I leave, Dennis. As we follow this investigation, Martin Colley has provided significant information to the public than the state itself.
Yeah.
That is something I have observed consistently throughout this. And you will also observe that most of the information Martin provides, that's what the state will follow. It was Martin who called for the gentleman at Noka to be removed, and the president acted and then suspended him. It was Martin who called for Biako to be removed, and Biako resigned. The president acted to replace him. So many instances where Martin will provide information and then the state will act. And when Martin and others are quiet, including us, when we are quiet, the state just sits back and does nothing. Yeah. And so he has gained significant credibility with the Liberian public in terms of providing what others consider as factual information in this investigation. I think he has been of great help. That is my personal opinion. He has been of great help. Now, I'm not here to say that everything he has provided has been 100% factual, but he has provided significant information that led to arrest, dismissal, indictment, and so on and so forth. So if anybody has a upper hand in terms of doing, better investigative job here, I will give it to Martin without any hesitation. Dennis?
You muted.
Dennis, on mute, please. Okay. Dennis, you are still muted.
Who keep muting me? Is it my co-host?
I think
No.
All right.
Co-host, yeah.
Dr. Pearson is co-hosting with me.
Oh, okay.
And he has the leverage to express an opinion because he thinks Dr. Mali is working through me. But Gabriel.
Yesterday, he felt that the government, hire you and you didn't give him much time. So maybe he's hired this time.
That's the typical neo-progressive thought process.
I know. Gabriel, if you follow Martin Colley's post on the IG, what specific allegation you think that is calling is making also, in fact, talk about it tonight? And with the president coming earlier and say, hey, I think Gregory is doing a great job. Do you think that's a collision course?
So I think Dr. Pearson and Anthony elaborated, in length, right? The credibility that Martin has established so far, right? I want to take it a step further. FOL is considered a non-biased institution, right? And I think Anthony alluded to that, where we do investigation ourselves, right? To be factual, right? Besides focus on Liberia, show me another institution in Liberia, news institution that does investigation journalism, that has picked up this case since it has started. Dr. O'Malley alluded, actually, he pointed out to Spoon TV, right? Could we give credibility to what Spoon investigates? Can we sit out here and consider Spoon to be a credible institution? There's somewhere I'm going with this. So the point that I'm making here is that we have probably limited or to none, in fact, people who will take on their time to really investigate. Institution like Focus on Liberia, in Liberia, to do the investigation. There's none, right? So this is the reason why that has been relegated to people like Martin Coley and what's the other guy's name? Wanto, I believe his name is, right? To do the job. Given what he has done so far, what he has, been able to do, there's some level of credibility that he's been able to establish, right? So here's the point that I'm trying to make to answer your question. Where we are with this case, the allegation with the IG, the what's the guy's name? I think it's Johnny Dean, who is close to the IG, who got removed because of the 10,000 bribe, right? Which was alleged that the IG got a kickback from, right? He was removed immediately, right? That level of closeness from a logic, let's forget it, because I think everybody's politicizing this whole case here. Let's forget the political aspect. From a logical standpoint, imagine we are here accusing you, Dennis, that you took bribe, and the person who gave you the bribe allegedly was Anthony. Anthony is close to you. What do you think that means, right? That means there is a level of connection that you're aware of. As the head of this institution, that means you cannot just claim willful ignorance. That's why I'm going with this, with the IG. The guy in your investigation force took bribes, and there's an allegation that you're aware of this. The logical thing to do would be either to recuse yourself from the investigation because you're now compromised, or the second thing to do, if I were the president, was to fire you. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt to say he's not aware. We can recuse him from the investigation because you have compromised from the allegation and the evidence that's been put out so far. That's what I would do. That's the logical thing, everybody. And this is what the public is crying for, right? And that's on that thread is the evidence that Martin Collin keep providing, for which everybody is, supporting him in this fight. That's the logical thing to do. Now, let me get to your question of the president reaffirming his support for the IG. This it will be another wild thought process, right? If he was able to remove the second in command immediately because of the 10,000 bribe, right? And the IG, he continued to reaffirm his confidence in the IG. From the allegation that is being put out there are people in the higher ups who are close to this case. The IG himself came out and said it. So far, the only higher up that we've, got accused, who got arrested, was the former vice president. Here is my theory. If he does not remove, if he goes ahead and remove the IG, anybody else he's going to put in charge of that investigation, to lead that investigation, will not play the political card. They're going to look to flip every stone on turn, right? Meaning, if people are accusing you that it's closer to you, like the vice president, current vice president, and his son Jojo, right? None of those two individuals has been brought in for questioning. So if you remove Coleman and bring in somebody neutral, that person will not play the political card. They're not going to say, "Oh, this person is close to you, so I'm not going to investigate that." They're going to go after those individuals. So the best thing for you to do as a president was to reaffirm that individual, because in a way, he insulate you from that investigation getting close to you. This is the point that everybody is getting to. Yes, you arrested the former vice president. Yes, you're doing all these other investigations, but there are two other instances that are alleged that you're not touching. And the current IG is the person protecting you for that. So the best thing for you to do is to continue to support this guy, instill confidence in him, because if you remove him, the gates now open up to you and it could lead up to you. So that's the reason I believe, that's the theory I believe why the president continued to support the IG in this process. I yield.
Thank you. Let me bring in my co-host first to do some of the questioning for Tao and Evis. Go ahead, Dr. Pearson.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Look, I would like to begin with my friend Tao. Tao, you are more on the side of system, especially Africa trying to run a system that you feel is not best suited for Africa, and now that we have Liberia's own political system being tested at the core by this whole drug crisis, and in line with this whole mounting allegations against Gregory Coleman, the police chief, who has a lot of his deputy, 3 major deputies under him, lieutenants under him, implicated in the drug crisis. And the populations are saying, look, we want you remove or replace or step back and let this process go on. And the president in the process come and say, look, I still have confidence in you. Go ahead and do what you're doing. You are more concerned about system and how it works. The question I want to put to you, Tao, and you can help us here, how does that strengthen your own argument that Liberia needs a better approach, and what would that approach be in such a situation like this?
Okay, so in the first place, I think you are trying to affix a system to Liberia that doesn't belong to it. You say in Liberia's own system is being tested. No, it's not. If you look at the governing structure and the political structure from an African perspective, people are cultivated. It is not a popularity contest. It is not a selection process. You are cultivated first through the society. You demonstrate to some extent what you've offered. And if you look at China, China is practicing exactly that. People like Z came from way down throughout demonstrating his ability to provide and work for the people everywhere he was placed. And for almost 50 years, he rose through that rank. So that by the time he arrived at that top, he's well seasoned in the interest and the function of the state, and he knows exactly where the state is trying to go, the general plan and structure. Gregory Coleman, where did he come from in the system that we're practicing? He was here in the U.S. They just grabbed him and brought him. Nowadays, he's serving the police. He never lived there. He never served as no superintendent or mayor anywhere. None of that.
Just a point of interjection. Gregory did serve in the national police, I think, between 2016, 2018, around that.
No, we're talking about that.
He was the IG on the Ellen Johnson salute. So
that was on the Ellen. That's how he was brought in. So he was never cultivated through the system. This is the mistake that we keep making. This is why I keep saying here, we who are in the diaspora, we should stay out of these governments. Let us empower the people. We can lend our support and do so. Let empower the people there so that people are cultivated. Okay, so this is the system that we are running. Cummings, Ellen, where did they really ever serve in Liberia? Where they were cultivated through the system? It doesn't exist. They just came in. We have people sitting here today, don't live in Liberia, waiting for the next election so that they can go take power. And then we run into this kind of study and we say Liberia own system. No, you don't face that to Liberia. It's a foreign corrupt system that bring in people that have never served in the country, that have never ever done anything. They have no track record. So like that. But look, I want to go to this. You know, Mr. Morris and Alil Kamara, because me, I didn't know much about Gregory Coleman. Mr. Morris was really, really adamant about when he was. He said this guy is not the right person. He don't know why they're bringing him back. I remember almost 2 years ago, he zeroed in on that, and even Alil Kamara, who support Boakai, saw it himself. You know, Dr. Marley said something here yesterday, that the drug problem, even in the presidential, in the EPS or whatever, the vehicle. This was when Gregory Coleman was police director. Drugs were found in there. They were escorting or transporting drugs. So here's this Gregory Coleman that have been part of the security sector, that there was some of the stuff going on. And he didn't call nobody, then nothing happened. So probably he just continued with the same thing. I agree with Martin Colley that he should either be fired or he should recuse him. Not even recuse, he should be fired. And this is why. This guy lacked the ability to be able to investigate this particular stuff. He is too much caught up into it. I'm not saying that he's guilty of anything, but the president appointed him. So he's serving, and this is why I have problem with this thing. You are hired for you to do something to provide security for the state, but you are serving at the will and pleasure of the president. So even if you wanted to do the right thing, if the president's son is mentioned, if the president himself is mentioned, if the president's friends are mentioned, how do you move forward? You are appointed by the president. It's a political position. It can never be neutral. And this is the difficulty. This guy is not going to go ahead and bring Jojo in. He's not going to be vice president. He is not going to arrest his own deputy that is close to him or the LDA boss. He's not going to call in the foreign minister and question her. He is not able to lead this investigation. And I want to go even further, because his boss is the justice minister that is already defending people that are accused.
Thank you, Mr. Tao. I want to show this. This is among Martin's latest revelation, or what he's saying, right? About this lady. He identified that the lady, sometimes he rides with the IG, and she has some cars, and she will be under the police protection. People are assigned to her, and this lady does not work for government. The lady fired back that she's going to contact the U.S. Congress and do all that. Also, we have my own friend Winfred Russell in Minnesota talking about these vehicles that were, according to him, donated to or procured by the Liberian government for the police. And so these are all the things that are happening. Elvis, I'm coming to you there. And Martin is even saying that there are a lot of people connected, including the justice minister. Why it's true that we can say Martin has all the facts and whatever he says is gospel? How scary is this kind of scenario, that if anything that has to do with drugs and the drug cartel is hitting high up to police chief, to justice minister, and who knows who? Elvis, how scary is this?
All right. Thank you, Mr. John. Look, I've said it before, right? The president needs to purge the ranks. Those people who have questionable relationships with people who are of unscrupulous characters, the president needs to have a close examination of those people. And IG Coleman is somebody who I think has some questionable associations. And as a police, you know, IG, you have to be above the appearance of impropriety. You can't be somebody who people are questioning your relationships with certain characters. That's an issue. And in this country, before you go into places like the FBI, they do a meticulous background check on the people you associate with, your family member relationships. If you have a drug dealer in your family, even though you may not be associated with that person in that regards, but they scrutinize that relationship. They scrutinize all of your relationships, especially if you go into a sensitive position where you're supposed to be investigating people like those people who you have some association with. So with me, with Martin Colley, I've given him some credence because I feel like Henry Costa has receded from a position now that Martin, is occupying. He tend to do some, he has some, investigative capacity, and he brings some level of evidence to buttress, and corroborate the evidence, the things that he's proffering. So for me, I think there might be some smoke to this situation, where the IG is bringing in things. You don't do things outside of government. In this country, you have a budget, you have line items. He works in the United States. He has worked in the United States before. You know the professionalism that goes with any kind of government job in this country. You don't take private gifts as a sitting official of government, or donation from private individuals or private organizations while you're serving as a police director, or maybe he thinks it doesn't apply in Liberia because it came from America. No, those people have interests and they're going to try to influence you because more than likely they have interest in Liberia. That's why they're giving you those things because you can do things for them there or you can protect them there. So I think personally, he's the wrong person for the job because of his questionable association. Same thing with Ibi Krumah. A lot of people saw it when I said it. That was the main person I was harping on, Mr. Towell. That guy is like, I hate to say it, but he's like a criminal. He's like a criminal law enforcement person. All the drug dealers know him. All the gangsters know him. All the former rebel knows him. And some people think that's an asset. That way, he know the Baba minute, so you know how to go there and do investigation. You have rapport with these guys. But no, those people are easily corruptible because they are in that world. They know people, and the people know them, and they can corrupt them, by peddling influence. So for me, I think the president has to fire anybody who has questionable character. You have to be pinking clean to become a IG. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. And also, Gregory Coleman failed the Republic of Liberia. If you have people working under you, you have to be both, the head of that department, and you have to be an inspector general. You know what an inspector general is? It's like a drill sergeant, right? What a drill sergeant does, he goes there and make sure everybody is in tip-top shape. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Everything is in place. Everything is in order. You got somebody that's sitting right under your nose. They're involved with the cartel. They're taking bribe, and you don't have the wherewithal to know that this person has been compromised and do an internal investigation. It has to be brought up through social media before you can go back and and start doing investigation. That's your job as an IG. You have to make sure all the men under you are spanking clean. They don't have questionable, relationships. So you feel at that first, responsibility. So is he really working for the Liberian people, or he only cares about the opposition, or all the threats that he thinks is coming from the government, from outside forces that's not within the government? Your first and primary responsibility is to protect the state, but also to make sure that the organization you're leading is well ran and it's not corrupt and it hasn't been infiltrated. And that's the exact opposite of what we're seeing. These organizations, especially the LNP, has been infiltrated. People taking, pickups, or people taking, $10,000 bribe that serve pretty much next to you. How can you not know about that?
Exactly.
What is your investigation skills that you can sit there and somebody is blatantly corrupt and you're oblivious to it? I don't believe it. So I think the evidence for those who have minds will point that he might be complacent in it, or he's out of his depth. He doesn't have the ability to see corruption right under his nose. So that's my take on it.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson, what should be the IG response to this?
The last time when he was asked, coming from the hospital where Madam Joel Howard Taylor is, the former president, vice president, his response was, "I am a professional, trained police officer. I'm intelligent. If there's any reason for me to recuse myself or resign, I would do so. And then I heard him say, if they have evidence that will get me to that point, let them provide the evidence. And I'm like, I mean, wow, because he cannot be saying that given all of the things that we're saying here, including what Evans just mentioned. All right, when you are the top-notch head of the Liberia National Police, and you have your most principal deputies under you, all of them got corrupted, and you didn't know that they got corrupted to the point where they escorted $300 million worth of cocaine in the country into the airport, or getting ready to get it out of the airport, where Martin Collin came and made some noise and said, oh, there were initial some $22+ million cocaine that even left the country or something like that. Not 22, but on the 22nd of May, some cocaine left the country as well. And, you know, and then you didn't have a clue of what's going on under you. I think he doesn't have much to say other than to, look, do the honorable thing. Even if he doesn't want to resign his position, he should just recuse himself, because public confidence and trust is very important to the very investigation that they're trying to do. The people have to have confidence in your work.
Dennis, if I may, I would like to provide more information on the issue of the vehicle. Martin is saying from his research, and Tier 1 is also saying from his own independent research or investigation, there's no record anywhere to show that the vehicles in question was procured by the government of Liberia. The government of Liberia and the police is yet to say, hey, the cars that you are saying were gifted to the police IG.
Exactly.
And today, in one of Martin's pieces, he said the cars given to police IG are multiple, and that he gave one to the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General. And he even said that the Attorney General should return the car now. He gave him an ultimatum. The key point here is that, look, the records are not there to prove that the government of Liberia purchased the cars for these officials to use them. Nowhere else. Now, if the government is saying Martin and others are raising the wrong questions, and that the allegations that these cars might have been gifted to these individuals, all right, by the cartels, then let the government show the records that they purchased those cars. So then it's there where the issue of the cars from Minnesota now comes in, right? Rosals is seen in a video enthusiastically speaking that he was part of a conversation between the Liberian government through the police RG and him as a citizen and resident, let's say as a resident of Minnesota, all right, that there was a discussion in which they successfully managed to secure these vehicles that he's standing with. And in his words, these cars are on their way to Liberia to be used by the Liberian National Police to provide security for our people. That was Russell saying. But in an interview that I watched somewhere, he crumbles. None of the cars that he said were on their way to Liberia, he couldn't prove it that those cars were either taken to Liberia or they are on their way. And from Wanto's inquiry, he wrote a formal letter to the Brooklyn Park Police Department asking for clarity whether there was any deal between the Liberian National Police and the Brooklyn Park Police Department in which these vehicles were secured for the use of the Liberian National Police.
And they said no.
Brooklyn Park Police said at no time did they reach any agreement. They didn't facilitate anything. They didn't give any cars to the Liberian National Police, disputing outrightly what Russell said. So in other words, Mr. Rossos lied to not only the people of Minnesota, he lied to the Liberian people that the police of Liberia and the police of Brooklyn Park reached a deal in which cars were secured for the use of the Liberian National Police. So to conclude, Dennis, and then you can move the picture from the screen, Dennis. What is Dennis doing?
Go ahead.
There you go.
Thank you. So, where are the records that the government of Liberia bought these cars? And mounting key question is that the black Jeep that the police IG is using was given to him by the cartel through this lady who is in the picture, according to Martin. So he's saying, if the police say we are lying, or those who are supporting the police IG think we are lying, let the government of Liberia show the record. Now, if the Liberian government did not procure these cars of Gregory, maybe they were given to him by a friend. Call the name of the friend. Let the friend come forward. Let the friend show the documentation.
Exactly.
That they bought the cars so and so play, and here are the record, and it was on that day that they gave the cars to. So the government now has to prove that. And yes, the part two, then is if all these cars were even given by somebody who is other friend to Gregory or friend of Liberia and gave this gift to the police, don't you think there will be public record to that? Were we not here when some group carried some fire service trucks and are giving it to the Liberian fire service? It was a whole spectacle about it, right? At no time, no reporting has ever shown where an individuals were giving this gift of this value. And you go to our code of conduct law, as an official of government, you cannot accept any gift value more than 200 United States dollars. So the question remains, and the government will answer.
Thank you.
Where did you get the cars from? That's the issue.
Dennis, if you can give me a minute. Welcome, Nangwe, J. Victor Nangwe. Welcome to the show. Let me push this to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pearson.
Right.
Good to be back with you guys.
You heard what our brother Anthony has been saying all along about these cars. One of the disturbing things also is that majority of the cars that Martin pointed out are not registered in the name of individuals who claim to possess them. And even if you check the registration, when they went to register it, they use phone numbers that when you went to check out the phone number, the person who registered the car, the phone number does not connect to them. It's connect to others that you have to go like you're trying to cover up. So my question is that, yeah, one layer after another layer. So that alone raises eyebrows. So my question to you is that when this government comes to power on the mantra of transparency, accountability, trying to rebuild the image of the country, I know you see CMC member remove the CMC cap for a while. Dennis will say, what are we making? Is President Boakai and this administration making any good on building the new image and the new reflection of a government we want to see?
Well, homeboy.
Right? For the next generation, Victor, you think this is a good example?
Mr. Namba, before you go, give me 10 seconds at a time. Remember, yesterday I featured you my time. Quickly, just to give another insight to this. Before our president came to power, remember when there was rumors of Lebanese renovating his home? You guys remember that? Yeah. When he had that massive renovation on his house that couldn't be explained?
Yeah.
So getting gifts from friends and gentleman agreement is something that this government came into power, on. So let's just keep that in mind. But go ahead, Mr. Namba.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Dr. Pearson, for the question. But quickly, happy Flag Day to you guys. Happy Flag Day to my community. We had a very great time. If you give me a minute or two, I'd like to acknowledge some of the guys, the organizing team, of Mr. Magnus Say, Jerry Gray, James Ratto, Maurice Bolo, Patricia Dixon, Elizabeth Tobe. I want to thank all the guys, Dr. George Zoba, I want to thank them. They put up, quite a good program today. Our community has been dormant for a while, so they're trying to revive it. Mr. Heko Japa has been the president, and I have been the board chairman. So grateful to them that they could put this up. So, and everybody else who I didn't call. Dr. Richardson was with me today with the husband as well. So thank you. This is what a lot of us expected this government to do. Look, how many of us don't remember, for instance, in my state here, Robert Menendez, right? When Bob Menendez was being investigated, John Fetterman, Raphael Warnock, John Tester. All of these people returned the money that he gave them when it was found out that he had been paid by Egyptian and other people, and he did not register as a foreign agent. All of this in the gold and all of that they found with him. So I heard these people say, the guys who are associated with the cartel, they bought what is this internet service name in this thing for
Starlink.
Exactly. Starlink. They bought it for the station. They didn't buy it for Gregory Coleman. Why are they splitting our hairs? The police is supposed to investigate these people, and they're gifting the police, and they want to separate, or they give it to James Bolladin, or they didn't give it to. No, that compromises the police. And for us to be sitting here, and trying to, to pick, the rice grains from the sand and separate and all of that, I expected this president, just like you said, Dr. Pearson, transparency. You understand me? Things not being done like the usual. I expect him to write out. That alone qualifies even the IG from being a part of the investigation of this case. There are several reasons why IG Coleman should not be a part of the team that is investigating this case, because he is investigating himself. How in Liberia we always say you can't be a player and the referee at the same time, or the judge and the executioner. Gregory Coleman, IG Coleman, is playing both roles. He is the investigator and the investigator. How does that make sense to this president? And then he gets up to go and declare, take a vote of confidence in IG Coleman. He's doubling down, this president. And I believe he's smelling it right. He knows something is amiss. I mean, why didn't he go to declare a vote of confidence in his vice president when he was being accused? So he knows what's up. He knows what's down, whichever way, And so my short answer to that is, Dr. Pearson, I didn't expect the government to be justifying all of this. Who received what and who didn't receive what. If a gift was given to the Liberian National Police, which is supposed to be investigating this cartel, then then all of our calls that they should take this in and give it to an independent body comprising of credible Liberians and maybe our international partners to investigate it. This call, I think, would have been well founded. I think there's all of these now are giving credibility to the cause that the president, he needs to take this from the hands of the national police and give it to an independent body of credible Liberians and some of our international friends. Other than that, nothing will come out of this.
Thank you. Thank you, Veteran Namri. I want Dr. Mali to conclude so we can move to our next item. But before we can, there's Darlington Ziate say, good evening, everyone. Please be reminded that since this UP government came to power, has not won any case. My question is, would they win this case against the VP this time? We're not there yet. And then there's a very interesting comment here about Southeastern. He said the host. Anyway, I missed that.
The hosts have always shown that Southeastern bias against this president. President Ware is going for El incoming by again. So
so they say that we are, but Dr. Malin, okay, Tuba, so the hosts have always injected their Southeastern implicit. Oh, I thought it's supposed to be implicit. Just remove it. And when it comes to DNC, we is gone forever, my friend. Dr. Mali, let's look at yesterday. We spoke about the FOIA project where the money was not allocated from anywhere that we see. There's also the issue with the yellow machines from the start. It almost like we already bought them. So the money for the yellow machine was not in the budget, and they said, okay, this is gentleman agreement. And anytime you try to find things out, say, well, you have to use the
freedom of information.
Use that and get the information. Do you think that, again, do you think the government should come forth and explain these things without people even asking, just to give them credibility, because public trust is one thing. If you are leading, they say if you're leading and nobody following you, you're only taking a walk. If we leading these people and you are not telling us, people have to come after you before maybe you say something. You think that's serving the government well?
Well, I would say no, it's not serving the government well. But I want us understand a few things here. Government is a dynamic institution. There are pitfalls and sometimes missteps. So let's get back to the Gregory issue. If for any reason, I strongly agree with other school of thoughts that say we need an international body to head this investigation against the backdrop that there's allegation and counter allegation pointing at those who are investigating. I agree with that fact, okay? But what I don't agree with here is that if we're basing the removal or the acquisition of the IG based on an activist analysis, providing disjointed facts, and so the government should act on it to take a decision, that baffles me.
The government should clarify, give information.
Yes, I disagree with that. So I think Mr. Mountain colleague could do us due diligence if he actually provide all of the facts. Okay, like for instance, you having car business in question here, and it involves paperwork, bill of sale. Can we see that? Right? Mr. Say made a good point here. Did they go through the right procedure? The procurement, they all have steps. Could we challenge those areas to find out, to justify our claim that indeed the government is not coming clean to us? I think this is where I would want to go, rather than to double down on the activist proclamation based on disjointed facts. And so the government should take steps from that direction. I disagree. So the government should take their own decision based on its own investigation being convinced.
Dr. Male, if I may follow up and you close on this, sir.
Yes. And to conclude, I think Mr. Coleman would be a gentleman to examine himself and listen to the allegation out there. And as a mature, experienced police officer, maybe try to take a decision. He's a rational gentleman. He can make that decision. But is he doubting some of the information that's coming out, especially from this activist? Is the president also doubting it? For which
including the 10,000?
Coming now, we're not talking about 10,000. We are talking about an acting agenda here. We are talking about this car issue.
Why can't we talk about 10,000?
Right, including the 10,000.
Now we are talking about acting agenda here. Let's be focused, gentlemen. Okay, this is what I'm focusing on right now.
Okay,
right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't want to be swayed away. So what I'm seeing here is this. Based on those things, the president has even come out angrily to affirm his confidence in this guy. Okay, so the question now is, it makes the case even more difficult. It even makes the IG more adamant to consolidate his position and make himself like the clean gentleman out there. And you can't blame him, you see. So we should come from different angle to attack the IG, but not on the basis of an activist or a conspiracy theorist, disjointed allegation.
You can't label Martin. I don't like Martin, but you can't label him as a conspiracy theorist now.
When I started my opening statement here, I said, is Martin calling the moral voice for me to trust? I'm not talking about you guys. And I categorically stated, I said no.
Dennis, this is the question I asked.
Anybody in the media
Dennis,
out there
30 seconds.
Dennis,
30 seconds.
Hold on, Anthony. Let me give Gabriel the 30 seconds first.
Yeah, and you know, Doc, to be honest here, I think you're looking at this from a political landscape, and I think all of us here shouldn't be doing that. Forget the politics, right? I gave this example earlier. Imagine you are working with Dennis, as Dennis is your head, and you get accused of taking 10,000, and Dennis blindly sit there and say he's not aware of it, right? You're the head. He's the head. The buck stops with him. He's supposed to know what you are doing. That is the same case with the IG here, right? Regardless of the fact that the president is reaffirming his confidence in him, we know the fact. And lastly, what I want to say here, Dennis, for the 30 seconds, don't just slap, and this is what we do in the West here and everywhere else. Don't just label somebody as a conspiracy theorist, right? The fact that Martin colleagues have provided so far, we can be honest here. Maybe one or two wasn't accurate, but the bulk of them, this is why the president is defending. So you cannot just come and slap the conspiracy theorists on him just because you don't agree with what he's doing. Anyway, over to you, as Anthony.
Look, then if I quickly sneak in 5 seconds, right? First of all, look, Dr. Malik, quickly, right? All of these people who are being dismissed from the police force, Greg Coleman is the head of the police. This is an administrative problem. If you don't see it that way, Gregory is talking about the $10,000. What about Baggio, who recused himself because of the preponderant evidence that all of this thing he's swelling in, and you still think his boss, under whose watch all of this happening, should be left untouched? This is not about Martin Colley. This is about what the man has presented and the credibility based on which people have been fired.
Exactly.
On his watch.
Veteran J. Victor, this is this simple, right? The RG credibility, gentlemen, please here, 5 seconds. The RG credibility is on the line for a vehicle. His deputy went down because of a vehicle.
Thank you very much.
Now, anyone would think that the fact that the RG is now responding to that simple, you are using a car, you are a government official. It is obvious that that car was given to you by the government, secured or procured by the government, or a gift from somebody.
Prove it.
This is a simple matter. Let me learn with it. This is a simple matter. Martin is saying that car you're driving, police RG, it was given to you by the drug cartel. If I'm in the position of Gregory and I know that that car was not given to me by the cartel, I will release the record to say, Martin, that is not the truth. Here are the facts. The government gave me the vehicle, or this person gave me the vehicle, and yet are the documentation. But the car documentation, according to Martin, are registered in somebody else's name, and the police and investigative body cannot disprove that. How long will it take them to say, oh, you are lying, Martin? Here are the records of the car. I think Martin got them here. And so the police need to do the most honorable thing to tell us that Martin is lying. And the way he does that to be convincing is with evidence.
Thank you.
Registration documentation of the particular car. The car obviously should be for the government or library. If it is not, then let the IG tell who gifted that car to him. And let him provide the registration documentation to that effect to prove it.
Dennis, if you make it, we pivot.
Yeah,
You'll give that 30 seconds. Let hear him out.
Like Mali, we got a lot of issues to discuss.
Yeah, that pivot.
Just 10 seconds or 1 second.
No, it's only fair. Let that the body rebuttal,
it's not
please.
fair. We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We gotta go. We got a lot of issues to discuss. When we get to that point, you want to come back to this one with your time, you will feel free. But let's talk about Sekou. Their latest development regarding the Minnesota case with the NPA managing director Sekou Dukuly, and the Department of Human Services say they are putting payments on hold to those groups that are affiliated with him. And it's not that they found anything guilty, but why they are carrying on investigation. So that's the latest and more. Mr. Sekou, walk through briefly what's going on with Sekou.
Well,
checking in from the Capitol with another fraud story. NPR did a year-long investigation into a Liberian government official who moonlighted as a group home director in the state of Minnesota. Let me say that again. NPR did a year-long investigation, not DHS, not any of our state agencies. NPR did a year-long investigation, which turned into $36 million in taxpayer funds over the last 10 years. In 2020, Dukuly collected $500,000 in forgivable loans during the COVID pandemic. The state found Dukuly linked group homes of their employees' neglected residents in 10 cases. It investigated suspected maltreatment in group homes on at least 22 occasions, 4 of which involved the death of the resident. The state found the 5th resident died because he was improperly discharged. Despite living in Liberia, Dukuly was still running at least 3 Minnesota group homes until last week. During the NPR investigation, following a phone call from a reporter seeking comment on the story, Dukuly abruptly removed himself as one of the directors of the facilities. The allegations outlined in a report are deeply concerning, according to DHS. No kidding. $36 million in 10 years, that should be deeply concerning, and you should have done an investigation. We can say that the owner of the Medicaid program moving abroad would raise concerns of our investigation, even if it's not prohibited by law. Of course it should raise concerns. $36 million was poured into a facility. Police in New Hope were responding to frequent 911 calls about the 2 group homes controlled by Dukuly, including noise violations, fights, overdoses, and one incident where staff found a gun in a resident's room. In total, local police said they responded to 2 addresses 133 times in a single year. This is ridiculous. DHS needs to get on top of this right now. We need to stop this fraud. NPR should not be going out there and doing investigations. We should be using our state resources to do these investigations and put an end to this. This is your hardworking tax dollars that's going into fraud. It's fraud story after fraud story after fraud story.
So that is a member of the House of Representatives in the state of Minnesota on the floor providing the facts and calling on the state of Minnesota or the federal government to move in and investigate Mr. Sekou Dukuly, the managing director of the National Port Authority. Dukuly has assisted living homes in Minnesota. 3 of those, according to report, have been closed. And as you heard the member of the House of Representatives there were about 133 calls in a period of 1 year for, I think, about 2 of the homes that happen to be Mr. Dukuly businesses. And there were multiple occasions where noise were coming from some of the homes. There were overdoses of one of the residents, and on 2 occasions, 2 persons were reported dead. Also, during the COVID-19 period, the businesses owned and operated by Mr. Dukuly were giving a $500,000 United States dollar loan that was forgiven.
PPP.
Yes, that was a forgivable loan, and that came from the federal government. And so the member of representative is saying, look, we want the DHS, and that is the Department of Homeland Security, to come in and investigate this gentleman.
Human Services. Right.
Human Services. Thank you very much. Right, to come in and investigate. NPR, as a media institution, has done so much. About 36 million tax dollars being given to these businesses to operate, to provide services for the citizens of the United States of America. But the way these funds have been managed, and with the fraud after fraud allegation, it is about time the state move in. So 3 of those businesses have been closed, and we should have every reason to believe that the federal government and the state government should be getting on there to investigate Mr. Dukuly further. So I think Mr. Dukuly will have some serious questions to answer. I don't know if he's in the position, given the seriousness of the legal matter, whether he can continue to serve as the managing director of the National Port Authority, whether he stay enjoys the confidence of the president of the Republic of Liberia, given this kind of huge allegations of fraud and abuse and multiple calls, up to 133 from the police. This is alarming, and I think it's a serious legal leadership issue there, Dennis.
Thank you. Again, the Minnesota Department of Human Services is suspending payments to all group home companies affiliated with high-ranking government officials in Liberia, citing incredible allegations of Medicaid fraud, citing the lack of leadership at 3 facilities and the disruption in state payments. the Health Department issued immediate temporary suspension and revocation of Golden Touch Healthcare's 3 licenses. So they are closed. Tao, actually ended with show Dukuly continuing to enjoy the confidence of President Boakai, or we want to wait until
Look at what happened here. I follow this case, and I am a lot aware I have when it comes to group homes and stuff like that. I have some info because I have friends that are in it. I've come close to it. I have an uncle that's doing it. I have several friends in Minnesota that's doing it. I looked into that particular business myself because I actually listened and looked, but there were several reasons why I decided that I couldn't go in there because it has high
regulations.
Besides the regulation, it has a high, what is the term? There was a lot of risk.
Yeah, the failure rate is high.
Yeah, the risk is very high. Look at what happened here. I read through all of this stuff. There is nowhere where it actually said definitively that this guy did anything wrong. I have been present at many of these group homes just to observe and to listen, and people run away every day. Every day you put them in high fence, they jump over it. It's constant police that you have to keep calling. They're fighting. Some of them wake up, they don't want to get out of bed. You try to get them out of there, they come out, they're trying to attack you with knife, with all kinds of stuff. The 36 million they're talking about, when I look over 2 dozen of these stuff, it's small money. It's very small money, 36 million for 10 years. That's like $180,000 per like 3.6 million per year. And for if you just say even 20 units, that's $180,000 per year. It's very little. So I don't want us to get too caught up into them. If there is fraud there, they have not said it. People die in these places on a regular basis. Like Mr. Murray just said here, they close them down every day. I know a couple of friends that just have some here in Texas where they close them down. Somebody overdosed. These people, just slight mistake that your person manager that is there, don't close the cabinet, they get into the steal medicine and they overdose. Some of them jump over the fence and they actually go look for drugs. Or they jumping over the fence and opening the door to sneak men in or women in. And all the stuff are major violation.
Mr. Tao, just to help you there, I've worked there for some time, and right now I'm a healthcare technology leader working on. So what you were saying is correct, but that's why you don't have, where I work, we don't have what you are describing. And I'm not saying that's the same all over, but that's why the manager does, right?
Yes.
So if you see that these cases, you have a case, maybe that's why people, based on their care plans, that's how you assign. So there are people that are supposed to be one-on-one because they are at elopement
High
risk.
risk, yeah.
There are some to say, well, this person is at fall risk, so this is what we do. So based on that, that's how you assign people. But if the operation manager is in Liberia, right? So there will be neglect, or you may not superintend, since I want to be a superintendent, so let me use that word. You may not be able to superintend those activities because you are not there.
Yeah.
And you talk about the money that is small money. Wherever there is federal dollar, it could be 10 cents.
That's
right?
a lot of money.
So things are different there because it's federal dollar. It's not because it's big or small.
Dennis, I'm not saying that the money I'm talking about, because everybody keep mentioning, look at whole 36 million. So they're putting it, but they're not spreading it over the 10 years.
The 10-year period.
Okay, so I just want, I'm not.
And it's not for, it's for the running.
Yeah, I'm not trying to dismiss that.
So it's not.
I'm just trying to break that down so that, because what I see on even some of the comment, you can see the envy and the jealousy. I don't want us to go that route.
Yeah.
Look, there is something going on in the U.S. that a lot of people, especially in Minnesota, remember, because this is very important and we have to be careful and we have to pay attention because we are all here, came from somewhere, and we are trying to make it. Remember, when after slavery, they decided that the blacks should go on their own and they should make their own way. The blacks went, they set up Wall Street, like Wall Street. They set it up, they were doing well. All of a sudden, what happened? The whites came in, they burned it down. Rosewood, you can name many of them, where they put Central Park in New York, in New Orleans, where I live. The black people have vibrant area, they came, they passed or Interstate 10 in there and they destroyed them. The president and the people, they already said that they would take Minnesota back. There is an economic warfare going on. Let's leave this stuff alone. Do you know that the whole Minnesota, the Africans that came in there, they worked very hard and they established themselves and established businesses. They struggle. The Somalis, the Liberians, and all these people. And the whites are looking. I'm just saying that, and it's fact. They have to take that back and they always use their system. Where there is any discrepancy, they try to push this as a major narrative, and they're going in there and they're going to roll back any gains that the immigrants have made to seize all the places again. This is how they always operate.
That's something to consider.
Okay, so I want us to, because I'm saying this because we're all here as Liberian or African. I see a lot of
I get your point, Mr. Tao.
The moment they hear the money. But look, this is what I would say, so from the close. This is the problem that I have with people coming from here to go. What is this guy's background? That he's going to go be a Sikh? Does he come from logistics, shipping?
The man bought that position with the money he made.
There you go.
Simply.
So this is the problem.
He had to campaign, pay the president in exchange.
Yeah, there's a guy that is in the group home that he is doing.
Gabriel, do you have any proof?
The next thing, the guy is managing director for shipping, for management, for the port. Very critical area. This is the problem. So it's not whether the president should have confidence in him. That is not even he shouldn't even be in that position. And some of the problem then is, look, you are in this business.
Fairly taken.
Everybody want to grow too fast. Like I talked to some of my friends. I said, no. I'm going to, anytime, it's not just the money. Because you want to grow too fast, you can't keep up with those things. Do you know what it takes for you to run 24 group homes?
Group homes, yeah.
It's crazy. You can barely find good manager for one, or even good workers for one. The people, it's a high turnover area. They're quitting. Some of them quit before you know they're calling and you have to start running there. I look at others and I say, heck no, this is prison. I can't do it. Okay, so that is what they're doing.
Thank you. Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Mr. John. I'm going to actually defend Sekou here, even though I don't know him. At first, I thought he made his money in shipping, right? A lot of people come here to ship cars, to ship other things. That's what I thought he was really, successful in. So I didn't know he was in the group homes. Maybe he's multifaceted. But I would say this, like Mr. John was alluding to, when it comes to that $36 million, a lot of people who are poor, low-income people get Medicare, right? And then the older citizen, senior citizen will get the Medicaid. So these are federal monies that are coming to support poor and elderly people. So usually when they're in that facility, maybe their families don't have the means, and the government have to step in because they're low income or younger people who has not reached the age, of collecting Medicaid. So that money that he was receiving wasn't free money. It wasn't fraud. He was building the state for people who were in his facility, and he was providing service to because they qualify for either Medicare or Medicaid. So first of all, that's not fraud. Now there's overbuilding, like what Dr. Cassell did, where he was charging for services that he wasn't providing. I don't think this allegation has come against Mr. Dukuly, that he was charging and billing the federal government or the state government for services that he didn't provide for these people. And these group homes are very expensive. If you take your parent or your grandparent to these places, it's sometimes thousands of dollars a month. So they were receiving substantial amount of money for each individual that they were caring for. This is not unusual. But like what Mr. Tawa was saying, others were saying, is that anytime you take federal dollars, at some point they're going to audit you. At some point they're going to come and make sure that the money that the taxpayer money is being well spent, and the people who you're taking care of are being well taken care of. So they may not come in the first 3-4 years, but they're going to come. So I think, like what Mr. Jha was saying, you can't do a satellite. You can be a satellite managing director for a group home. You have to be hands on. You have to know your employees. You have to make sure that they're well qualified. They have a touch of interpersonal personal relationship with the patients, because these are people's family members, people mothers, people kids. So you can't do a satellite. So I don't understand. You're making so much money. You're highly successful. Why run to Liberia? Again, if you want to serve your country, as people will say, then resign from your position here, because this is a delicate position that you have to do with the lives of elderly and troubled young people who have some medical situation, whether it's behavioral or medical. These are people who are depending on your leadership to make sure that they live a healthier life and have a decent place to lay their heads. So that's a fiduciary responsibility that he had to these patients, and he neglected it to run to Liberia to serve in a lucrative government job. So I'm disappointed with him for that. But lastly, the last thing with the $500,000. Look, that was so that people could stay employed. During COVID, the unemployment rate was so high, and government was sending money to make sure that people have the employment. Those people who are in essential areas, which that was one of the essential areas that those people who are providing cares for other. That money was meant to make sure that they encourage people. If you have to give people a little bump in the pay, that was what the government. It wasn't fraud either. Government sent that money to make sure people were kept on the payroll and people were kept employed. So again, no sign of fraud there. I think that the biggest thing you can charge them with is possibly neglect. Being in Liberia and satelliting, such a integral operation is irresponsible. And I think he was being irresponsible by doing that. But lastly, I will say this. The insinuations that he paid for his position is not new. We're Liberians. We're not naive people. We know how it works. Somebody comes and brings you $500,000 to your campaign. They tell you the exact position that they want. If they're a lawyer, maybe they want to be, attorney general. If they're a doctor, maybe they want to be the, minister of health, or whatever the case may be. So certainly he contributed. It's not a secret. He contributed heavily to this government, and he got perhaps the most lucrative position in government. So that can be insinuated. Of course, you have to prove it. But overall, let's take a step back. The only charge I'll put against it is irresponsibility and not holding taking seriously his responsibility and being responsible for the lives of people who were in his home facilities. I'll pass it.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson, but we also don't want to lose sight of what is happening, that it happened with the Somali community. Like even the guy who was on the floor at the state house. I mean, I could see in him a touch of disdain, because people don't like immigrants. Some people here don't like African immigrants to be successful and make money. And so we saw that with the Somali community and how the mega movement is after them. So we shouldn't lose sight of that also. We can run and we can hold Sekou accountable, but we shouldn't lose sight. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree. And the reason I don't agree is that if you do your business right, you have no reason to look over your shoulder, right? That thing we do in Liberia, where you want to make cut corners and get things done quick, and get 1 or 2 envelopes here and there and get away with it. You can come here and try it. It will work for a while, but it will definitely catch up with you, right? And I'll say it this way: if you were having a problem with an investigation and they came in and look at your books and you are okay, nobody's going to shut you down. But this is what I said initially when this thing broke. I said, look, no Liberian should be happy when another Liberian is in problem, and I don't think this is something any of us should be happy about. But at the same time, let us not take our eyes off of history. I mentioned that before in 2000, between April to June, Ellen Cochran, one of our Liberians who served as the RIA port authority at the RIA in Liberia, the managing director of RIA, the Rabat National Airport, took money from Liberia. And when people went to make noise about it, she said she had everybody else on tape that she gave some of the money to. If anybody thought she would play the cassette, and then she left the country. She came to U.S. They said, "Oh, we'll repatriate you. We can't get you." Ellen couldn't get her. Ellen was vexed. She said, "I got tape on you too." right? At the end of the day, they brought to the country under we are administration. They threw a case out the window because they didn't want to go to the case. She had too much from too many people, right? She came to the States during the COVID time. According to the court's records, they are all public records. Between April to June, she took around $7.9 million from the federal government on PPP loan. She was found guilty in 2021, and she's in jail right now. And the people took their monies back. Now, Dr. Cassell, who tried to be president in Liberia, went there, was doing well, building compounds and building offices and other kind of thing. He was doing what he had his program here called Kenya or something like that, a health facility. He was doing pretty well, extremely well. He went to Liberia, the guys interviewing on ERBC and other platform. But you doing a lot of spending here. You millionaire? Oh, you millionaire? He said, yes, I'm a millionaire. I'm a wealthy man. I need money. Blah, blah. So the person started looking to him, wanted to find out. He too got caught up in New Jersey here by the feds in New Jersey, the state of New Jersey. His entire business was auctioned out for $6.4 million. That had the case was settled. He ended up passing away in prison.
No. He passed away at home on Christmas Day.
No. They say he passed away while in custody.
No,
it was at home. He was on a treadmill. He was exercising on Christmas Day.
I accept it.
I had a heart attack.
I accept it. I stand to be corrected. But when I'm driving ideas, and when I mention this thing, some people say, "Oh, it's not serious." In fact, there were Henry Costa want to make a whole big video and say, "In fact, there's nothing in this case here. There's no investigation." Trust me, when there are stuff in the media, in the press, and raising concern, people will look into it. And I say again, this is political season. All the political candidates are looking for things that they can run campaign on. If they didn't leave, it didn't take more than a week now, some of the businesses are being closed down. And they're going to investigate this thing. I would just want to pray that his books should be okay. Because if his book is not okay, definitely there'll be a problem. And that's where I came in last time on the show. I said, President Boakai needs to take the hard decision, put him on administrative leave, and go and have that thing settled. Because it's going to hurt the image of the country if he remains in office. Either he's indicted or there's a warrant for him, or the American embassy get up in Liberia and maybe sanction him. Then he becomes an equivalent of this George Weah government that he critique. Right? And I think that's it. Look, honorable, your position, come settle your issue, put your house in order, go back and serve the country. There's nothing wrong with you serving your country, but there's everything wrong with you giving the country a bad image. At the end of the day, it's going to impact the developmental agenda of the country. And that's my point.
Thank you. Mr. Nambe, I mean, as all of you are talking, I'm kind of sitting here and thinking, this is getting scary, right? Too many things happening. And I don't know what the end looks like. But, I mean, look at the Sekou situation with the government. We also look at the cartel issue, drugs. And these are all things that America can go after, the people we scared of so much. And then at the same time, deportees, which we're going to talk about later on, arriving in the country, and we don't really know what the deal is, right? Too many things, we always boast of our long-standing Liberian-American sister relationship. But America is a superpower. I think what they were saying also is America is a superpower. They can ask us for something and we refuse. But with all this, America, Liberia, and it's not looking, too many things are happening. We remember the last time when these sanctions were just falling on people in the Weah government. Are you concerned that things are not looking good when it comes to what's happening, especially with America looking on?
Yeah, look, first of all, let me be very emphatic here. I support any Liberian who is trying to pull themselves up with their bootstraps and doing it legally. But if you're going to cut corners, and I don't know if this is what Dukuly is doing. I'm not implying that.
You're right.
But I have no sympathy for any such persons. It is starting to look like this is what this is. Having said that, First of all, this is look under a real government, right? Because right now I don't believe anymore that this government is a real government, right? This managing director, before even this story broke out, this man was in the press for reportedly scandalizing other investors from Asia, Chinese people. That alone is sufficient allegation, accusation, because he didn't deny it. He can't sue. If you're going to be in the government and you are found in this kind of matter, there are lots of Liberians who can be port managers. You know, that was sufficient reason. I would have thought that this person would have said, okay, yeah, you may have given me, 500,000 as they are reporting, or maybe $1 million or whatever it was, but we have a government to run here. That didn't happen. Now, this current situation, I'm not a finance guy. Gabriel might be able to tell us here, as other people are saying. There are some coded words in here, right? Money laundering, right? Wire fraud, right? COVID money. Dr. Pearson just indicated what happened to Ellen Cochran, right? The COVID money business here, these people, they look to set an example, but they don't play with it. Yeah, they say $500,000 forgivable loan, but forgivable loan is conditional upon you meeting certain conditions. If you don't meet those conditions, it converts into a regular loan. You pay back.
Yep.
Whether he met these conditions or not, I think this is what this legislator is implying, that this man was giving him money with the understanding that he would do 1, 2, and 3. I think he's implying that he may not have met those requirements. Now, the business that he's in, this is the business that takes care of people who are challenged on several levels. Some of these people need 24-hour care. They, medication, hygiene, everything. And therefore, they need real supervision, presence, actual. So he was not in the country all the way in Liberia. How can he be the managing director, running the homes? And the people are saying, one of the homes 133 times the cops were called there. The reporting is saying that the cops even know the address by heart. They don't even need to be told where. As soon as they get the call, they know where to go straight, because they get so many calls from there. Some of these people have died. American life, we all know here. These people, they do bad things to each other, but they value their life, their citizen lives. And they're telling us at least 3 or 4 people have died in these homes, and they would, I'm sure they would tie them to negligence or lack of care and all of that. Another person was prematurely or was not released properly. So these are very egregious charges. And finally, this is not a good time to shine a light on immigrants or Liberians. This current government is not friendly to immigrants.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know what is happening to our Somali brothers and already in Minnesota, and they're in Minnesota. You have a Democratic governor in Minnesota who already is not going to run because of previous allegations of similar, Medicare fraud. So this is really, it's really a perfect storm of what is not supposed to be happening to immigrants, especially Liberians at this time. So all of us will feel it. I will all suffer the consequences, whether you live in Minnesota or not. Yeah. Right now, Liberians, we're all going to be under the microscope, and I feel bad for other Liberians who are in similar business, even in other states. I think they will start looking at them, side eye and all of that and taking a closer look. So, like I said, I don't wish ill on my brother here. I hope, and I'm glad, honestly, he has retained his lawyer and all of that. I hope he will come clean out of this. But this is very serious matter. Gabriel will probably, take it from me. But there's some of the words, according to the finance people, some of the words they're using, they're in there not just because they feel it making up the space in the write-up, but those are real, very, very, troubling words that are in there. So I hope it ends well, but I'm inclined to think it is not going to end well for Mr. Dukuly. And finally, we understand that some of this money may have found its way into the UP. So again, finance guy, I don't know what is here about accomplice to a crime or something like that, or give, maybe, I don't know. But I understand That some of this money may have found its way into the campaign. I'm sure they will follow the money.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part, right? When even with the Chinese guy who 300,000 found his
Yeah,
way back into Sekou's account in Minnesota.
exactly.
Dr. Mali, I want to hear your take on this, man. You think Sekou in some serious trouble here, or what others are saying is, hey, this is a fellow Liberian, and you people are just jealous. He's a young Liberian. He made it in America. He went back to contribute to our country, and people don't like it, and so that's why they are trying to find things. But actually, there's no there.
Well, actually, I'm not prepared to discuss the mechanics of the group whom he run. But what I'm prepared to look at here is that has he violated any statute, both in Liberia and the US and in Minnesota and with the federal government? Has he violated the National Code of Conduct because he's occupying a public space? You see? So this is where I want to come from. So if there are no statute that he has violated for being,
according to they closed down temporarily 3 of his facilities, revoked the license because they felt that that
yes,
they not be
yes, I saw the guy analysis. This congressman, I saw his analysis. He's quoting from NPR Akava report. That's very good. But if they are really serious, they will have to come forth to charge this guy, and we'll take it from there. But until then, the guy has not been charged for anything. People are analyzing what he did. I tried to analyze his stewardship and other things. But let's come back home. Now he's serving as managing director, and at the same time, managing some of his group home. Well, I don't know whether that is in violation of any of our statute, or whether that undermines our code of conduct, right? So we will know these things when the guy is being charged. Then I think the Liberian government can take a stand, because as far as I'm concerned right now, I don't think he has violated anything so far. But as a responsible government, I think, in my belief, he as a gentleman, with the rising of these type of news allegation and the same counter allegation, he will have to, I will not hold him responsible. First of all, I will hold the host responsible. They vetted this guy. Did they ask him whether he have another job? Did they ask him? They asked him, pardon me?
The House of Representatives or the Senate. The Senate, not the House. The Senate does confirmation.
Yes. Did they ask him all of these questions? You see, before he was confirmed by the president.
No, he was appointed by the president. So normally there's a vetting committee.
That's why he's leading to whether they were able to vet it.
So where all these sensitive questions asked?
So, but that even if this question was missed, if this question was missed
this on the platform, you got to give me. You got to.
No, I think he's trying to ask you a question so you can conclude on that.
No, but he should keep his question when I shall have landed, that he can come in. We can do this thing with this.
Okay.
Fair enough.
This is conventional platform. I mean, we got to maintain that status quo. So what I'm seeing here is that if the guy is charged or he's indicted, then the case then there's a steam now given to this discussion. Then we can go further now and look at the National Code of Ethics, the statute, all right? Then we'll begin to go into these things. But for now, I think discussing the mechanics of the group itself, for me, it's not too relevant to me right now.
Thank you.
And someone made a comment that it is, I think it's the moderator. Whether some Liberian try to undermine this guy, well, there could be a possibility. No. We are not united in the diaspora. We know that. No. We fight one another. I've experienced it personally, so I can provide a testimony to that. So there are possibility.
That's not true. As a Minnesotan, let me say this 10 seconds,
I
please.
experience it personally.
No, I hear you, Dr. Molly, please. As a Minnesotan, let me say this personally.
Oh,
First of all, I live here in Plymouth. You know, Mr. CMA noticed. Plymouth is a city that's adjacent to New Hope, where he has his facility. I drive through New Hope maybe every other week or so. So this is right behind in my backyard. But second of all, with the fraud cases that's been involving the Somalis, Minnesota Public Radio, which is for all intents and purposes, that's why the guy mentioned it, a liberal, media outlet here in Minnesota. They started to do some research and and kind of deep diving into organization that receive money from the state or federal government. And his companies was one of the those corporations that received a large sum of money. $36 million is a large sum of money. That's why they did the investigation. It wasn't a Liberian that went and reported him or did some investigation to expose him. It was the state of Minnesota who investigated his company. So it wasn't Liberian. Please don't do that to us.
If
But I pass the
if
mic.
Gabriel, I want you to conclude on this.
I had a
it's
question though.
yeah, go ahead, Mr. Nangwe.
Thanks, Gabe. I just wanted to add Dr. Jones Malley. Let's assume the vetting committee and the confirmation also missed all of these questions that you're raising. Don't you think a prudent thing would be what the state of Minnesota has done to suspend the activities pending the investigation? The government of Liberia can also suspend this MD and do their investigation. Don't you think that would be the prudent thing to do?
no, I don't think that would be the prudent thing to do because we are running a responsible government. A case got to be made. You got to make the case. All right, you can't just get and jump into the case.
Who should make the case?
Minnesota and the federal government should make the case.
They should make the case to the Liberian government.
They should just make the case. That's all. They don't need to.
Oh,
make
come
it
on, Dr. Molly.
Listen to me. I don't need to follow your line of thoughts. The Minnesota government, the federal government should make the case.
No, the Minnesota government and the federal government, those are two different things.
That's what I'm saying. The Minnesota government, the money the man using that are taxpayer money.
Let me.
So
when those accusations came against we are official, everybody was calling for the resignation. We actually fired them without the United States making a case to the.
But there are no charges against this guy.
Let me
Let me tell you, Gabe is coming. But it will continue like this. We raise sanctions, just like we did under the federal government. It will continue like this. Sanctions will come down. But go ahead, Gabe.
Wait a minute now. Are there charges against this guy?
Let me get to the point here. You see, I would take it backwards. During the height of the PPP loan process, at the time I was an underwriter, right? Basically, some of the qualification is you need to show your tax return. On your tax return, if you're a company, it will show how much you're paying your employees' wages, right? It's part of the qualification, right? Now, if you don't have tax return, we ask you as a company to have a P&L, meaning if you have a quarterly P&L, P&L is profit and loss. We'll tell you, give us your P&L, your profits and loss. And on that profit and loss, it will show your wages, your employee wages. Those are part of the qualification, right? Why am I saying this? The reason why they're bringing up the PPP is because they're trying to find out whether he inflated the number of employees to qualify for that 500,000. That's the point. That's the angle that they're taking. That's why they brought this in, right?
Good point.
Here's what I want to say. We're all immigrant here, right? We should be rooting for each other in terms of how we make money, right? And if anybody in your world or anywhere you meet anybody, they tell you immigrants are not important to this country, you should refer them to the Cato Institute research that just came out, I think just probably a few months ago. This Cato Institute is a what do you call it? A right-wing institution. They put out a research that immigrants literally saved this country from going bankrupt in the trillions of dollars. I don't have to say it. This is from a right-wing institution, right? So the work that we do here as immigrants it is very important to the economy of this country. So when we see another immigrant doing something, you know, living the American dream, we should all root for them, right? For me, I don't want to accuse Dukuly, right? But I think there are legitimate accusations here, right? I think some of it we alluded to. As I said, the angle that they're taking with the PPP is to see whether he inflated his wages, employee wages, to get qualified for the 500,000. The second piece here is that the fact that he left to go to Liberia to work in the last 2 years, they're accusing, one of the accusations is tax evasion, right? In America, I think there are two countries. Whether you live on another planet, you're an American, you still have to file your taxes here. You do your taxes here. They're alleging that he evaded taxes. I mean, he probably
He
hasn't
hasn't
filed
been paying
taxes.
taxes on the income he's making in Liberia.
Thank you. Exactly. For those 2 years. That's the angle that they're taking here, right? So these are legitimate accusations that we need to look at, right? So they may not get him on the moral aspect of whether he was running an institution while he's in Liberia here that require physical presence. That's, we can look at the moral and the ethical part of it, right? You can't indict somebody on that aspect of it. But the tax evasion, right? The PPP loan, whether he inflated his employees, the number of employees to get qualified for the 500,000, those are the things that they're going after, right? They know that, and this is what we need to think about. They know they can't get him on everything, so they're literally throwing everything at him. And trust me, when those people want to get you, they will get you. Some of it will stick, right? Those aspects may not stick, but the tax evasion and the fraud related to the 36 million, they will dig in until they get him on that. So I'm glad that he retained his lawyers to prove his case, but I don't think we should be the one, indicting him in the public here. We should look at the facts and present it as it is, right? Now, on the aspect of whether, his serving in Liberia, if I were in the government, everybody knows the right thing. And I think that the reason why some of us, we kind of protect individual is because we align with the political party. And I like to tell us, when you're looking at these things, take your political hats off, right? Take your political hat off, right? Dr. O'Malley, if you were the president, what I would do, I would recuse this guy. Hey, like somebody said it earlier. I think it was Mr. Nangwe. Take a leave. Go sort out the issue you got. Maybe 2-3 months. When you're done, come right back. And the state of Minnesota doesn't have to prove anything to you for you to do that. The facts are already in the public. If you are looking at the same thing that we're looking at, the same thing that you come to you and we should come to you and ask you, these are allegations that are out there. Are you aware of them? Yes, no, take some time and go fix them. The state of Minnesota doesn't have to come to the government of Liberia to ask them to do that.
And Gabriel, if I may add this, I think in the report it's also mentioned that I think out of 46 times or 46 staffs, their payroll tax was not remitted to the state.
There you go.
So the individuals work and they're supposed to pay taxes to the government, and it is the business responsibility to remit the income taxes to the state.
And that's why they will stick him on.
From the report, that was not also done. That's another thing they are also.
No, I think they said it was paid late. It was paid.
It was paid late.
Yeah, it was paid late.
All right.
Then, but then answering, there is the other whole side of this is the government that's hustling Uncle Sam. I mean, we got $5 million for 1,200 people, right? We try our best to go in the eyes of Uncle Sam, right? And then this is happening in our backyard, and we're going to provide cover for this. It doesn't make the government look good.
Let us be careful too to know that what we're discussing and the allegations are the journalist investigation. Their investigation don't go as deep as the state or the federal government. That's a whole different ballgame.
They will go.
And I tell people not to take this thing for granted, because at the end of the day, sometimes people are lax on certain things, not because they see the immediate danger, but they feel they can get away with it. But after you start to go and look into the files and dig into the circumstances surrounding, I saw in that report also the lady said that there were investigations into the available data on the account of the business that he personally used money for his personal use, not in the business expense. So there's so much here moving
As
parts.
I said,
Yeah,
when
let
they
us
want
be
to get
careful.
you, they will
Yeah.
get you. That they will make something stick. So he needs to lawyer up and do the right thing. They will make something stick. There's no way he can avoid all of
these
this.
organizations are heavily regulated.
Yep.
Like nursing home, it said that the nursing home is more regulated than the nuclear plant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Put your hand down,
there are a lot of
Tao, put your hand
regulations
down.
Tao want to speak.
when
Put your
some
hand down,
come
Tao.
in that they look at. Tao, I want to give you 5 seconds so we can go to our last topic.
So look at what happened here. Just everything that Gabriel said here, they will look into this. You know, when the COVID came, other friends that are in business, the PPP, and because I was not really following those things, so they called me like, "Oh man," and I said, "Where's the document?" So I started looking, and they said, "But you have," I said, "I'm not touching that money." They say it can. I say, "I am not touching that money." I say, "You see that money right there? The
It's a
country,
trap.
they don't give anything away for free. It will haunt you for the rest of your life." Because look, when you look at some of the stuff, it's not only that you just receive the money, even if you whether inflated or deflated, that there's steps on how the money is supposed to be used in the day to day. So the money can just come there and then it just go away.
Exactly. Yeah.
So even if it just came in and it just so I was like, nope, I don't need that.
That would make so much money shipping costs. I'm like, bro, I don't know why you went guy 7 involved in those
those are some of the stuff.
So Tao's point, there are people who got personal money, not even business, and the people who got 1,200, 2,400, yeah.
Yeah, greed and complacency.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the deportation.
You can see the development in the movement here. And this is what the bus is having with his bus. And the bus is having all this recommendation. This is the best to do. All corruption go. There's no way around the Environmental Protection Agency, and I can say that for facts.
Hi, my name is Addie Tyler from Pennsylvania, and you're watching Focus on Liberia.
Welcome back. You're watching Focus on Liberia. Let's talk about the deportation, right? So the deportation arrangement between Liberia and the Trump administration remains controversial, with questions about sovereignty, reintegration capacity, and diplomatic leverage. The question we'll be asking tonight: what are the key terms of the deportation agreement? Does Liberia have adequate systems to reintegrate deportees? How does the agreement affect Liberia-US relations? Should the agreement be renegotiated or reviewed under current conditions? And let me tell you, Liberia is not alone. There are other countries doing this. They call that the third country. So under this agreement, Eswatini up to 160 approximately deportees, and they're going to get 5.1 million, the U.S. funding for border and migration management capacity. Rwanda up to 250 deportees for 7.5 million. The agreement provides for 7.5 million to Rwanda. Equatorial Guinea, there's no public maximum stated, but that's 7.5 million. U.S. transfers 7.5 million directly to the government in connection with accepting third country nationals. Paula, 7.5 million. U.S. granted 7.5 million for needs associated with transfer people and public services. El Salvador, 250 plus Venezuelans initially, 4.7 to 6 million pay El Salvador to hold deportees in its prison system. Then Liberia, up to 1,200 deportees over 12 months. Liberia says it is not seeking compensation for accepting deportees, but Reuters reports the U.S. will provide $5 million for migration management support. Uh, uh, Gabriel, you are in fine, nice. So break this down for us. Deportation and money, and how does this stuff work?
So I was just, as you were speaking, I was just looking at the breakdown. Um, First of all, I would say this: if you don't have a foreign policy, that means you will be operating on somebody else's foreign policy. And one thing I can tell you from what we have seen so far, we don't have a foreign policy, and so we just take whatever's thrown at us, right? Rwanda is getting 250 people for 7.5 million. That's about 30,000 a head. We are getting supposedly 1,200 people as 5 million. That's about $4,166 per head, right? Now, we can look at this in this whole archaic view that we always look at things between Liberia and the United States. Oh, we have this historic strategic relationship, right? Maybe that's the reason why we didn't ask for more money, right? But what was the agenda when the foreign minister went to meet with Marco Rubio? Because I believe this happened, I believe in November or December of last year
Of
when she
last
met
year, yeah.
when she met with him, right? What was her agenda? What the United States presented as far as those 1,200 deportees, that was the American agenda. They have there's a whole paper that I share in our group, right? It's a 30-page paper of the uh, foreign committee, what do you call it, a policy, right, that of how they're going to get rid of these people, right? What was our agenda? That's what I want to know. In exchange for what? 5 million? You cannot tell me 5 million. It was something that you had in mind. She had in mind when she went there to meet with Marco Rubio. So the point here is that we do not have a foreign policy. We do not have a foreign policy, and this is why we're caught in a quagmire. And this archaic way of thinking that we have a strategic relationship with the United States continue to get play in the mind of people, and we keep getting abused, getting the shorthand of the stake in this process. So I'm sorry. I know when she got appointed, a lot of people were celebrating her, and Martin Coley made the case that this person wasn't. I'm not going to get into that whether she was fit or not. I'm just saying that the fact that you're in the job and you continue to put out these results, one result that you're putting out, just is evidence that you know maybe there is some level of incompetence in this whole process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Evans, let me ask you this. On June 30th, 2025, the Foreign Ministry website published GOL strongly refutes misleading claims in recent media article. The government of Liberia categorically refused the content, tone, and intent of a recent article titled Liberia selected as one of Trump's dump site countries for criminals and illegal immigrants. The article, which has circulated across social and digital platforms, presents a grossly distorted narrative that misrepresent the U.S. Liberia bilateral cooperation. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs can emphatically state that the government of Liberia has not been in any conversation or negotiations regarding third-party nationals being sent from the United States to Liberia. Likewise, noting that there are no ongoing discussions related to third-party nationals. Liberia has not entered into any agreement, formal or informal, that obligates it to receive individuals who are not Liberian citizens. Evans, with that, in July last year and now this, when you heard this, did you try to think back, what was written that this was not true and now it has come? And even up to now, we don't know exactly what the agreements look like.
Right. Look, I think the government was obfuscating, but I think in reality there has been some reciprocity, with the two administration. And I say this is because Liberia has been favored in our region when it comes to getting visas. They've become the hub for our surrounding countries where they'll come to Liberia to get visas. I think Sierra Leone, Guinea, and maybe a few other countries will have to now come to Liberia after the U.S. shut down their visa programs in those countries. So Liberia has got gotten some advantageous treatment from the United States government. Perhaps this was because they've been more willing and open to work with this US, this administration. But secondly, I would say Liberia missed an opportunity. The accepting of these immigrants, these deportees, is not bad in my estimation, right? But what I think they should have done was to say, look, we will only accept African immigrants, people who are African, and then second of all, what we would do if these people are free to go, if they're not criminally, they're not, meant to stay in our country and be locked up, we will ask them if they want to go to another country, another African country beside our country. Maybe their political asylee, or their sexual orientation is something that's not acceptable in the country. They can stay in our country if they wish to and live amongst us as a as an African. They have the right to live in our country per our constitution.
How do you know that was not the agreement?
That's what I'm saying. If it is, then that's what they should have. That's what they should put out there for us. But this is what I'm hoping that the. But no, I will say how I know, because there were people who were not Negro people who were on that plane. So thereby they were bringing non-Africans into Liberia. That's the point. That's how I know. But let me just finish up, Mr. John, please, if you will. And then lastly, you can facilitate that money could be used to facilitate the transportation of these people to their preferred country. Maybe a francophone person may want to live in the Cote d'Ivoire, and maybe you can have a situation with the Ivorian government, like, well, we have a few French speakers. They can't go back to Benin, or they can't go back to Cameroon because they're Amazonian and they're fighting against the Cameroonian government, but they would like to resettle in your country, and we can help facilitate that if you agree. If somebody wants to live in Sierra Leone rather than Liberia, an English-speaking person, we can help facilitate that. So you can be a leader in that regards to repatriate Africans, knowing that we have a long history of doing so on the continent, but only Africans, and not bringing people who don't speak English, Mexicans, not Mexican, but Colombians or Venezuelans, and make Liberia a hellhole for them, because just to communicate alone is a problem for them. They don't know the culture, they don't know the landscape. That's like punishing the people. So if Liberia would have made that request to only bring Africans, and those who wants to stay in Liberia as a second home, or want to be repatriated to another African country, we can help facilitate that. I think we would have looked really great doing that. That'll be my take on it.
Thank you. So you're actually feeling sorry for the people because it's different.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't speak a language, you've never been to the continent, and you go there, and somebody just pull you there, it's almost like hell. It's like, what am I surrounded by? I don't know anything. I can't communicate with these people. It's like a punishment for those people. And Trump is being cruel, and Liberia has been accomplishing this cruelty.
Thank you. Mr. Sia, you are on the ground, right? What other information is available about these third country deportees or asylum seekers?
Dennis, everything in Liberia is consumed by politics, or overwhelmed by politics, or dominated by politics. Even when the Oma is cooking palm butter, some people might think that the Oma is sedition, or from a United Party, so that palm butter may not have more fish in it, since the Oma may be from Grand Cru, right? On a very serious note, I had a conversation. I think you can see I got a very nice haircut here. I was in a barber shop yesterday, and that conversation came up, and the two gentlemen I was talking to, they were divided on the issue. They were not in agreement. One said, "Hey, I disagree with the government decision, to bring these people in here when the government cannot even rehabilitate people who are suffering from drugs addiction in this country. Then you are bringing people here. I mean, who's going to take care of them? I mean, the government generates money, but it's not being able to take care of its own people. I mean, the young man even went for to say, what's about the Liberian citizen that came from Ghana? And LRRC was in charge to make sure that they were settled in the country. There was so much chaos. The people were suffering in camps. Some of them never got their money. Corruption went on. The government had to intervene and dismiss some people. And so where is the guarantee now that the foreign nationals, the government is saying they're taking on humanitarian ground, they will be treated, actually on humanitarian ground, and there will not be issues. And then the other gentleman said, look, he took the government narrative, said, look, this has been Liberia, standing in for others, providing shelter for people who are in distress. This is the history of this country. And the fact that the U.S. government does not want the people in their country, they are human beings. It's the right thing to do, to welcome people and give them a place, where they can live their life. I think it makes Liberia to look good in the eyes of the world, right? And so people are divided. In short, if you are a supporter of government, I'm not saying that every supporter of the government agrees with the government decision, but majority are like, hey, it's the right thing to do. This is the history of Liberia. Whereas other people feel that no, I don't think Liberia is in the position. We don't have the capacity, and we don't have the facility in the first place. And the money in question is not involved. Even if the American government will get significant amount of money, I don't think this is a right decision for the country. So people are divided on it. My own opinion is strong, Dennis. I disagree with our government for accepting these people. I think the best decision, in my judgment, the government should have made was to say, no, we don't have the capacity. We don't have the facility. All right. We have our own trouble, our own woes. We're struggling to be able to settle our own issues. We do not want to add to the multiple problems that we have, and we lack the capacity, we lack the funding, we lack the facility, we lack the expertise to do. No, we cannot do that. And like someone said, we will not be an accomplice, all right, in American government, the Trump administration in particular, that is not kind to people who are from different countries. And this is what it is. And I'm not going to mince my words on it. For the United States of America, a country built by immigrants, and now some white people in America feel that those people don't have the right to live in the United States because of their nationality, and they have to get out anyway, and they are prepared to send them just about anywhere, because they didn't have the right to go to America in the first place. They don't have no right to be there, because they don't have legal documentation. And so they will dump them just anywhere they want to. I think that is unacceptable. That is cruelty in itself. And for my country to say that, well, we will facilitate your cruelty, all right? We'll give fuel to the wickedness that you're trying to, to carry on other people. And now we're hearing about money. And so it's now $5 million that's been given to our government, and the government is here to kind of clean on it. All right. I mean, I don't think it will be only the $500 million, because the $5 million now is in the news, and there's information that the U.S. government will provide support. Is that support just that $500 million? Or would there be?
It's $124 million package, but $5 million for each batch is coming in.
Okay.
So I think the total amount is 124.
Fine. Even if the money was maybe $500 million, if I were in a position of the president, I will reject that, because this is not proper. I will not be the one somebody used to carry on their cruelty against another people. And I disagree with our government, and I'm ashamed as a Liberian that my government is trying to be an accomplice, all right, in what is sheer cruelty on the part of the Trump administration. That is sad that our government would do this to us.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson, let me ask you, what are the key terms of the deportation agreement with Liberia? I'm sure you don't know, but let me see whether you know something that I don't know.
The doctor is frozen.
Dr. Pearson.
He's coming in.
No, he
Doc, you're muted.
Proper internet.
Your call is muted. He on the phone with comments. The strategizing how to
I told you I'm getting intelligence from my sources that Dennis is the one doing all these things to me. But look, Dennis, I wouldn't want to bog myself down with what the detail of the agreement between Liberia and the US is on speculation. Like I always say, if you hire Jerry Miller as the information minister of Liberia and paying thousands of taxpayer dollars, he should be telling us what the government is doing. If you're paying Daniel Sano thousands of dollars, he should be telling us what the government is doing. I would not sit on this platform and do government job for them when they are making pay down there and causing people mind, causing people power, saying they're doing the job. I would not do that. But this is what I would say on this issue. Look, Liberia has been hospitable in as far as our history goes. From the very first, about 1800 people that came on the first ship, Elizabeth, to Liberia, we were hospitable to them. We hosted them. In the end, we were able to host close to 18 to 20,000 of American Liberians on our soil. We saw how that changed the dynamics of our country. It changed the dynamics of our country to the extent that they dominated our environment for over 130 plus years, right? So I am concerned, and I think that's what we should be discussing now. Now that this is a far gone discussion, the people are being dumped upon us right now. I want to make a few clarity here. Number one, it is not humanitarian when somebody is being moved against their will. The people that are being deported are not coming to Liberia willfully. They did not get on boats or get on plane and say, you know, I'm running to Liberia because it's a peaceful country, it's a very, hospitable country, so I'm going there to make a living there while my country is in disarray. Some of the people are pulled apart from their families. Some men on that plane where their wives left behind here, their kids left behind here, their families are torn apart. They are traumatized, they are broken, they are hurt. And then you tell me, say you're doing humanitarian service, you're not helping them, you're hurting them further. Some other people have cases in court that have not been heard. They are being deported against their will. And the cases is yet to be heard in court. Some of them, their lawyers are still looking for them. Their attorneys are still looking for them. They're still trying to account for their whereabouts. Some of them got the case file in their hand, and they're going to court and they say, listen, your client cannot be found. Bring your client to court. My client cannot be found. They're no longer to the detention center. They're being flown out of the country. You're not helping them. Liberia is not helping them. Liberia is hurting people. And those are people's sons. Those are people's daughters. Those are people's mothers. Those are people's fathers. That's not America. And that's not Liberia. I refuse to believe that is America and that is Liberia. That is a period of tyranny. And that should not be supported by a country who stood as the lone star in Africa for 100 years and defended the solidarity of African freedom and to ensure that other nations are free from apartheid. And now we're now supporting a foreign nation, deporting people against their will. You say humanitarian service? I refuse that nomenclature. It's nonsense, complete nonsense. And I want to say this is because some of our people who are leading our country, our leaders, do not understand what it means to have self-worth, to know your value. You need to know your value to be able to make some decisions that will stand for the value of others. Exactly. Nelson Mandela would never have taken that mess. Kwame Nkrumah would never have taken that mess. Jerry Ronald would not have taken that mess. No. We are no longer under any colonial powers. No. We are not subservient to any other nation. No. We are not somebody back there. Donald Trump called Liberia an asshole. It's now that Liberia, who is an asshole, is fit to take someone from a developed country to an underdeveloped country. We've been friends with America for over 200 years. Look at Liberia. It's not even compared to a broken down city in the U.S. that has no facility.
Say that again, please. Say that again for those in the back.
No, it's unacceptable. Now, I can understand, I will close on this, then it's not to make your platform too exposed to the kind of rhetorics. But as a progressive, and a new progressive at that, immigration is a fundamental human right that if somebody feels threatened in places of their current origin, if they want to seek asylum somewhere else, America being so-called a democratic state, the champion of democracy, should never close its door to immigrants because the entire population of America is immigrants. Even Donald Trump is an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant. What are we talking here?
When ice come for you, don't come and need out.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I leave it at that. I leave it at that. I'm going to remove my name from the screen for some time until later on.
Hey, John,
Dr. Mali, I want you to respond to Dr. Pearson.
Well, my only little advice to Reverend Dr. Pearson is he need to lower down the temperature, because raising the temperature can't solve the problem right now. We are being classified as Liberia's stepchild, and that is ingrained in the mind of most generation. But here is my take. I think this is the same neo-colonial playbook where the West continue to see Africa vis-a-vis Liberia as a dumping ground. You see? So the question is, I'm more concerned now about the ramification and the consequences. I don't want to go into the monetary value aspect, but assuming there's information that some of the guys are rapists, murderers, okay? And some of them, I mean, are hardcore criminals, according to some sources. All right. Now this guy coming to come settle down in Liberia. Very soon, according to the justice minister, some of them will be given asylum. They're going to get assimilated into the system. The guy will start practicing some of these same things.
The crew meaning for Nukuta will neutralize and don't worry about it. That
okay. The guy will start. They will start practicing some of these same things. Then we'll start crying. We'll start crying wolf again. You see. But the question now is: this is a time bomb that is going to explode on us by a decision probably that has been made or was made 10 years ago. So I agree with Dr. Pearson. This is the wrong decision. And even also, Mr. Sear, this is a very wrong decision. Ago? I mean, 10 years from now.
We're not afraid of the man. They try the thing, we'll take care of them.
People start crying, all the rapists, the drug traffickers, the armed robber in the system. Because these guys are hardcore criminal, according to sources. And the government is not telling us more about the details of these guys, you see. But I think looking at Liberia as being a dumping ground, because this is where I see it. Even though Gabriel said we don't have foreign policy, I disagree with him on that. We have foreign policy. But how are we managing the foreign policy? Is it to our advantage or disadvantage? You see? So this is a time bomb that we have on hand, and very soon it's going to explode.
Dr. Mali.
Yeah.
Which sources told you that they are criminals?
Well, according to my information I got from, I can't disclose my source.
Oh, come on, Dr. Mali.
No. This is a very credible source. I'm telling you.
The source is they are murderers, they are rapists, and some I assume are good people. That's the source.
Most of these guys are felonious material.
No, what I mean is because
America cannot keep these people here. Why are they sending them to tell world countries?
The reason why, let me say this quick.
No, hold on,
sent back is because they can seek asylum in those countries.
Hold on, because Dr. Mali.
Yes.
Dr. Mali, because a lot of people are listening to us, right, including other Africans.
Yes.
I hope you are not quoting Donald Trump when you say some I believe are good people. That because hold on. I want us to be clear because other people are watching us.
Yeah.
Can you state for a fact that you know that the people being accepted in Liberia, the 1,200 over time, are criminals?
According to
if you don't know for sure, I want you to take back that statement.
I'm saying I cannot take it back. According to my sources, yes.
Come on, man.
Yes.
I mean, Mr. John.
This is where you
get the propaganda is that these guys, like Trump, our smart president, he said that these guys were coming from asylums in their home country. No, these guys were seeking asylum in America. So his assertion was that these were the worst of the worst, crazy people, murderer, violent people that they let out of their home countries, and as such, they should be deported from America. That was the rhetoric and the propaganda from our president. So that the Mali is running with that same talking point.
No.
For a person to be a criminal, it's a legal conclusion. They have to have been proven in court to be a criminal.
Mr. John, I was in flight when Evans decided to just stop my process.
Sorry, sir. Go ahead, please.
No,
I was in flight.
just
You
received
need to
a call.
respect that. I'm not going into the playbook of Donald Trump. I got the thing from a credible source.
What's the source?
So then
I can
state
myself.
the
What are
source.
you talking about?
Oh, come on.
But you are attacking the credibility and the of other people. Right now, I got a call while you were talking. Because we are under obligation, right? So I got a call from a higher up questioning what you are saying, because we don't want to be liable for what you put out. So I want to.
You got a call from Natalie Harp, Dennis.
Excuse me?
I cannot disclose my soul.
You got to call from God. Mr. Dad's less above.
So I don't know what the highest are you talking about. So if you disclose the higher up, then I'll disclose my source.
This is where you give your disclaimer that the view expressed.
I gave the disclaimer, but I just want him to stay for a fact. Now he says you have to soul, but you can't disclose it. So
Dennis, I have not spoken.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doctor.
Wait, the government not hire you too? For me?
Which government?
Whichever one are hiring people. But look, look here. I will buttress what Dr. Mali said. The deportees are hardcore criminals that they're so dangerous that they cannot even be kept in the U.S., that they have to be deported.
That's wrong.
The government itself.
That's wrong.
These people who have their record is the one that made this clean. Marco Rubio made this clean several times. So don't tell me that it should be taken back. No, the people that are deporting them who have their record, they're the one making this clean. Now you can say whether he lied or not, and we have to take that for that, because these people are going to our country.
No, I mean, if
so
you
Marco Rubio,
like
the Secretary of State Marco Rubio said this many times, that they're criminals and they're so dangerous that they can't keep them here, that they have to deport them. So I want to state that. Okay, but look at what happened here. I've been looking to this. Remember yesterday, I told you that New York Times broke this stuff. You know that the deportees that arrived on Thursday or Friday, you know that some of them refused to get off the plane to deplane, that they resisted and they dragged them out. They put their knees. They had an interview with the New York Times today, where after they restrained them and they refused, one of them is a Cameroonian woman. They put them back on the plane and they flew them to Equatorial Guinea, where armed men with masks on their faces came in, escorted them to some kind of hotel in the countryside where they're holding other deportees. So this is the kind of stuff that is going on. But look, let me just, in this whole thing, I'm asking this question. Why is it that the US, instead of sending people to their own countries, where they didn't have to pay no country any money, paying money in African countries to bring people that are from other countries that have trouble past? Because this is the question that I'm actually asking. Why are they bringing them there? And then they're paying the countries to host these people. It said that what is the agenda that is actually behind this? Because what purpose does it really serve?
Mr. Tao, the U.S. will always do something for the benefit of the U.S. What is your government doing?
Yeah, no. My government is. We don't have a government that look at. It said the justice minister, or it said the information minister that is a U.S. citizen. Because this is the point that I keep pointing out, that us in the diaspora that are resident and U.S. citizen, let's stay out of this government. When you leave from here as a U.S. citizen or resident and you go to serve in Liberia, you're serving in the interest of the United States.
Our foreign minister and our president are not U.S. citizens. They're the ones responsible for this decision.
Yeah. The foreign minister came here, went to school here, worked within the United Nations, These people, when you work in these organizations.
So are you saying they have dual loyalty?
No, listen now. When you work within these organizations, there is a way that they co-opt you and you are recruited in many ways. That is what serious countries don't take people that work with the international organization to place them in major positions in their countries. So, but the justice minister. So look at what happened. But no, Dennis, this is very important. So they're not going to question the United States. Let's just forget about the money. All they have to say is visa ban or visa restriction. Everybody have their family here and they panic. Or even they don't even have to say anything. But look at what happened here. The only logic that is in this two. One, how do we even know who these people are? Are these American agents that are being planted in this area? Because remember, there is a showdown going on when they come to Africa in a shifting world order. So if that is not it, then what is it? And I started to check. The pressing industry was one of the heavy donors to Donald Trump campaign. It was two, the press industry and the tech billionaires. Paying them back. Why are you sending people all the way there then? They can leave and go back to their own country if they want to. Why didn't you just send them to their country?
No, here's the thing quickly.
Listen now, the airlines that are transporting them, it is the pressing industry that donated to him. They own the airline. They're charging between $17,000 to $25,000 an hour. One flight from the U.S. to Liberia is between $350,000 to about $600,000. So you can see the payment that is going on to make campaign payment.
That was all allocated in the budget for the DHS.
Yeah, but they don't make but it don't make any sense. Why are you sending people instead of sending?
And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Most of these people refuse to go back home to their home country because they fear for their life. No, and also, some of these countries are not cooperating with the United States to accept deportees.
Mexico.
Hold on now. You asked a question. Let me give you the answer that I know. A lot of these people refuse to go back home to their home countries because they fear for their lives.
No, it's not
and secondly, their home countries are not cooperating with the United States to accept them as deportees.
Mr. Morris, it is not true because
the biggest.
Listen. Let me because most of the people that they deported already went back to their own country. They started leaving after they got into the third country.
Those who wanted to, they left voluntarily. These are the people who refuse to leave.
Mr. Morris, please hold on. One of the ladies that they deported to Liberia.
No, but I think that defeats your own argument, though, Tao.
No. Most of the lady one of the ladies that they brought to Liberia that refused to give the peanut brought to Equatorial Guinea. She's from Cameroon. They are deporting people to Cameroon. They take a Cameroonian and deport them to Liberia.
Here's the the assumption that third country deportees are necessarily hardcore criminals. I think it's wrong.
I'm not saying that. I'm quoting the U.S. government.
You just said that. You just said that.
I quoted the U.S. government. I said they have the record.
I wanted you to quote them, but you didn't quote them.
This is what. Yeah, and this is how they told us.
Mr. Tao, here's the biggest part that the reason why they're sending these people back. Those that are in this country that are seeking asylum here, they get lawyers, right? You have free lawyers, or you can hire a lawyer here. However, if they send you back to other countries, it makes your case even difficult to apply for asylum in America. That's why this is all racially motivated. If you're in America, you apply for asylum here, it's easy. You can go and get a lawyer and your case will be heard. You can go back and forth to court. However, if they take you and bring you to Liberia, Rwanda, or the other third world country that they made deals with, it makes it even harder for you to seek asylum in America, or if you even have to.
Say you're already in a safe country, seek asylum in that country.
Exactly. What you just explained there is the exact reason why the new policy that has just been enacted by DSA. Now, if you're waiting for your process, you got to go back to your country.
Exactly.
Wait there for your processing time. Some of these people, there's a backlog. Some of them are not criminals.
Yeah.
They just
a lot of them are not criminals.
That's the reason why they're shipping them out. Yeah.
Right.
It makes it literally impossible. Literally impossible to seek asylum.
All right, gentlemen, it's almost time for us to close. So let me announce that for those who want to participate, 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#. And we have the legend, Esther Wisse, on the line. Mr. Wisse. Yeah, talk a
No,
little louder.
Okay, sounds good. Is it a little better?
Yes, sir.
Listen, let me say greetings to you and the rest of the panelists in the studio. I've been following closely.
hello to you.
Okay, go ahead. What's your you have question or comment?
So let me start with the issue that has been discussed currently. This issue of the 1,200 people that unfortunately that Liberia have landed from the USA. Unfortunately, considering the intolerant current president of the USA, Trump, a man who happens to be married to a migrant, but behaves as if he knows nothing about immigration, unfortunately. And he's fighting hard to rid America of people who are foreign born in this country. It's very unfortunate. I tell people, when you take the workforce of immigrants from this country, the country collapsed instantly today. If you ever live in this country, for those who are outsiders who've never been to this country, everywhere in this country you find foreigners working and contributing to the society meaningfully. Now there are cases, and there are absolute cases where foreign born do outrageous things, but on the overall you cannot negate or you cannot overlook the contribution of foreigners in this country. Having said that, look, here's the harsh reality. The people are being moved to some countries in Africa, but not everyone on that flight or on those flights are going to be criminals. There are people who are here in America that didn't have legal status, like they live their life here, they just didn't have proper documentation. There are people who fled other countries and sought asylum or were seeking asylum, but they were not granted and they were here pleading a case, they are going to be sent back. So let's make this a call. Let's make it very crystal clear that not everyone here or that will be traveling to Liberia, that will be sent to Liberia, transferred, that's the word they're using, will be criminal. No, that is not the case. So I hope everybody understands that they are not taking all criminals to our country. And I would argue that I don't think, to be candid, I don't think there's any president in our history that would have refuted or rejected this offer. Meaning, had it been Ellen Johnson's release, had it been the immediate past president, George Weah, or this current president, I don't think any of them would have refused that call. Don't forget, we have a huge contribution there. Our biggest donor, America, sent over $100 million to Liberia in aid to UC. So I mean, it's a tough part.
You said you said. You say
it's gone.
Yeah, USAID.
I thought they're gone.
I mean, over the years, to current UC, America has used UC, to help foreign countries, and Liberia has benefited tremendously. It's no secret. These are public information that anyone can access. America has benefited.
No, I mean, you say it's no longer. Okay,
Legend,
go ahead.
I have a question for you, Legend.
Let me, thank you, John. Let me land the thought that it's a tough spot to be in, and I'm admitting that. If President Weah, I don't think he was rejected. I think he was obliged to take those people. Even former President Sirleaf, I think he was obliged and took those people. The thing here is, I hope we make good on benefiting something substantial from it, because I know they're offering cash, obviously, but they are going to be perks. I hope that we'll put some cases like, hey, if we're going to take these people from you all, we need X and Y as an immunity. We need some kind of benefit for our country, because we are a sovereign state and we are doing you all this favor. And there are countries that refuse it, but you can understand why. Like, it's in a tough part to refuse it. Like, I know Burkina Faso refused them. But
so what do you think is the cost benefit? What do you think is the cost benefit analysis of the current plan?
It's not the costly. I think that way our country should be. Our country should be smart. Our country should be smart and make sure the requisite benefit from it. They're going to take these people.
No, it's not going to. They already took them. It's not going to.
Well, you don't know what that, like I referred to the perks. You don't know what are the deals on the table. Like they may not disclose everything, to the ordinary person, the ordinary Liberian, but there could be things that Michael could say, look, this is the upfront thing, this is the main deal, and hey, we're gonna offer you other things that.
But what has our government? What has our government disclosed so far concerning this deal?
They lie.
They disclose that there will be accepting people from the United States of America.
Under what terms?
We are looking at into. We don't know if the number is going to increase. Sorry. I didn't get the question.
No, I mean, do we know the details? Have the government disclosed anything about the deal? What is it that they're getting? Because on last year they denied that this was even going on.
Yeah, as far as my knowledge goes, and then I have researched and I've seen that a lot of the countries that will be receiving these
third country
transfer, right? They will be receiving in tune of $5 million. Like I said, that cannot be, because that amount is not an exuberant amount. But that amount cannot be the cap. It has to be some other things in the benefit. But if you don't mind, let me just chime in on the Dukuly so that I can retire for the gentleman to continue. As far as the Dukuly is concerned, anyone who lives in the country like someone like myself, we know he's on an investigation. You know what it means. When the American tell you they're going to investigate you, I'm a proponent of this government, so to speak. Let me make a disclosure. But if the American tells you they're going to investigate you, they've done a considerable amount of investigation already before bringing it up to you. So I know they got some things on him. At present, we all know it's not a secret. He's not being charged. But as a rational person who lives in America, you should know that he's on a hot seat. There is no way American people tell you they're going to investigate you if they don't have some kind of substantial thing against you. So we know this. And for those who are outside of America, who's not been to America, who's not lived in America, I want to tell you that Mr. Dukuly is on a hot seat. There is no if about it. If American people tell you they investigated you, they've done substantial amount of work behind you, and you got to get yourself ready. I'm hearing that you got a lawyer. It's the smartest thing he's done for himself. I know he's getting ready because it's going to be a tough one. Dennis, I want to appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate the rest of the panelists.
I got a question for you, Dennis. I got a question for you.
Thank you. Let me bring in our second caller. Kadiatu. Kadiatu, you're live.
Is it Kadiatu Harris?
Kadiatu, go ahead.
Kadiatu who?
Yes, hi. No, Kadiatu Kamara.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Go ahead, Ms. Kamara.
Thank you guys for letting me come on. Yeah, so I was just calling to say, I first of all, yesterday I was watching yesterday's show actually, and there was a lady on there that was, talking about I know this is off topic from yesterday's show, but the drug investigation, you guys touched on it today. But she was saying that, don't go back into the history and going back down the line. But I do think that's what we need to be doing. Like, there's too often to forget about our history, and then we keep repeating the same thing over and over. Like, before technology, there was ways to go about investigations. When people knew, maybe they aren't guilty at the time, but we can mark them down and keep those names of suspects and just keep those names as person of interest. And if they need to come up in future investigations, we can go back the line and look at those records and things like that. So to just say, we can't be going back in history, we should be able to go back in history. History didn't start with technology. It started with record keeping and keeping those things that we can go back to refer to. It doesn't mean that the person is guilty, but we keep those records that, this person has come up before and it keeps coming up. And so those are the things that too often our history, a lot of us don't know things of the past, so we keep repeating the same thing over and over again instead of over to see what has been done before so that we're not repeating the same thing. Secondly, I just wanted to thank you guys for everything that you're doing for the show, and I do really appreciate your perspective. But I just wanted to add, I do know that there are several Liberians working in different sectors across the U.S. and in other developed countries or whatever. Like gentleman that was on the show talking about that he, had some expertise in the PPP loans. Like, whenever you guys are doing shows like this, I get it. Like, it's an opinion show, but if you guys can tap into those expertise, the people that can come and talk about what a proper investigation would look like if they're investigating a drug investigation, what that would look like, or a lawyer or someone that can speak to like an expert on those things, so we can know what those things can look like, and not just always opinions, but an expert in those kind of things, and so that people in the future will have an idea of what those things are supposed to look like.
And tomorrow, Kadiatu, we're going to have our FOL Justice Forum, where legal minds will be discussing the drug issue, especially the former VP Joe Howard Taylor's charges. That will come on tomorrow, 7 p.m., right here on Focus on Liberia. And guess what? The best in the business, I'll be moderating.
See you there. That's what he's trying to say. See you there tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kadiatu. What is her expertise? Then, so that if we are discussing something where she has expertise, we can invite her.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Nawe.
Yes, sir.
Wrap the segment on the deportation. Wrap it up.
Yeah, I was trying to ask the legend, and one of our audience members is asking whether the president is now creating new human beings, for 2029. And I thought that was a very smart. But listen, Dennis. Look, I think first of all, what everybody is concerned about is what the government is not doing, being transparent with this and explaining to us exactly, what is happening, what is in this. We're all just speculating, and I don't understand why this government, chooses to operate in this fashion. They have a responsibility to us to come and tell us what is happening. Well, Samuel Gombe Koga is alleging that Article 57, although it gives the president the power to conduct foreign policy, but it has to be in concurrence of majority of both houses. And that is a valid point. That is a legitimate point that I think can be brought up by the legislators to try to bring this president in to explain what it is he's doing. I don't believe what Mr. Tawo is saying that, and Dr. Malley, that these people are necessarily.
I didn't say that. I was quoting the U.S. government.
Okay, I am disagreeing with your
Marco Rubio, the guy that is.
Yeah, until you bring that code and put it here, I'm disagreeing with that code. I don't think all of these people are necessarily, violent, criminals. I don't think so, and that has already been explained by Gregory and other people. Some of these people really are asylum seekers. They just don't have anywhere to wait, and they fear that they may be prosecuted in their home countries or persecuted, and so they can't send them back to their home countries, and so they need somewhere to wait until they process them. The judges here will not allow them to send them back to the countries of origin. That is why they're sending them to third countries to hold over until, the backlog is cleared and they can process them. That's why some of them have been sent over there. So I disagree with this, but I agree with Elvis. The government could do something good out of this, but then again, they took $200 million from Asylum Mattel. And what did they do? They increased their allotments, speaker's office, the regime speaker, Kofa Nambekun, my own namesake, and he dancing all over the place, he's dancing because he got plenty of money to dance for, but it took that money. You would have thought that maybe they could have given that money to agricultural bank or something, even if they had given $60 million, put it aside, and let farmers go in there and do a revolt, something that will make that money. And it could run it for 10, 20 years going. Farmers go in there, take a loan, go empower them, get the equipment, and pay the loan back or something like that. But no, they go and increase their allotments, enjoying themselves. So, but there could be a good business deal that this government could actually, exact out of this. But I don't know because they haven't told us. I just heard from Elvis that is actually might be more than $5 million, and I think what he's saying there makes a lot of sense. They're probably paying, batch by batch by batch. Who knows? Because they're not saying anything. Jeremy Pierre comes in, he stands on the podium, you know, for 2 minutes, he's getting paid. But he's acting that he's, you know, we're bothering him to come and brief us. Then he tosses it over to Daniel Sando, and then he curses everybody in the country, and then the president goes there, you know, and then pats him on the back, and they've had a good day. So we'll see. But this is very troubling because of the lack of information. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. But you know, great show tonight. Thank you all again. I think we did great last night. I look at the analytics, and you know, I think we did good again tonight, if I should say so myself. You know, so thank you very much, and thanks to our audience.
You know, we are averaging 4 million views every month.
Exactly.
Every 28 days. And
so now, and those are the people who are waiting for Tao in Liberia. If he ever step foot there, they will grab him.
Cool. I get the Liberia people running away. You talking about somebody?
Yeah, man, looking at muscle man or muscle beef.
That's one, man.
I think the biggest thing is which we encourage the government to do is transparency. Just tell us, you know.
Those two words don't go in the same sentence, Dennis.
The issue that I continue to really be to front on is how almost every government agency is setting up its own media because they don't want to come to the independent media. They are putting me out of business in Liberia, right? So in fact, the diaspora office in America, they want to have their own TV too. Because, I mean, it would be great if the diaspora people will come on the independent media, like focus on Liberia. The finance ministry, you have your own media. Information ministry, you have your own media. Police have your own media. So now, if the newsmaker is the news reporter, we don't think that the truth is ever going to come out.
Is that everybody lives in their own echo chamber, so you can't challenge what they say. That's basically the reason.
They say they got to tell their own story. We got to tell our own story. If you are Senator DeLong, you go live on yourself and broadcast yourself. You know, so this is not helpful. But let's go around the room for your closing. At least let's use 49 seconds each. Let's start from, you know, Mr. Tao.
Wow, 49 seconds. What? Look, no secret society.
When the government said 285 yellow machines,
no secret society story that your all number that you are calling.
When they said 285 yellow machines, did you question why 285?
Yeah, this was a very good show, and we should constantly have these things. Like I always say, and Gabriel emphasize that we should depoliticize a lot of these things. We come here, even if we have our political views when they come to the country's well-being, let us put that aside so that we can be able to kind of achieve some stuff, at least establish some baseline that cut across everything else and help the country. But look, when it comes to this immigration stuff, this is what you would get when you have people who are in all of the top areas, they're tied to the U.S. in some citizenship or something. You work, go ahead and read this stuff. The U.S. does not recognize dual citizenship. You take the citizenship or the residency in some form, you work for the interest wherever you find them. So you will have a bunch of dirt going there. There's one thing that we have, the traditional relationship with the U.S. It's only in the mind of the Liberian. The U.S. has never acknowledged and recognized that. We are the only one that running around the hopeless stepchild, all this stuff, cooking, all this stuff. It doesn't exist. It's a fallacy in the mind of, I don't know where it came from. So we need to get away from these things. Look, we are here scrambling all over the place when the global world order is changing. All Ghana, Nigeria, all these countries now, they're going towards trying to add value to their own stuff, industrialization, all of the stuff they're negotiating between all the different powers. Liberia alone, Liberia does not have a foreign policy. They don't have one. If you have one, where is it? Yeah, you can write it, but it doesn't exist. So this is where we are supposed to be moving. By this time, we're supposed to come and start renegotiating with Asla Meta. Look, we need to do 30%, some kind of steel factory here. Just for the domestic population alone, all the building boom that is going on. Come to the other person, come to the other person. But it doesn't even exist. We are coming to the US that they should come and survey our minerals. That's the kind of stuff. I heard the mineral land stuff or mineral. Liberia delegation is going to the UN. That is where they're going to go discuss it. No policy position doesn't exist, so that somebody somewhere will tell them how to manage their own land and their own water. And most of these people that are in the government that are traveling, they're from the US here. I was checking today in the Senate and all the major areas in government, they're all from the US. But they're just there doing nothing. So I think for almost over 20 years, let us step aside. It's a corrupt system. We cannot sit here and be waiting, campaigning for the next government so we can go take power. And then we're wondering why the country is failing. And then the moment it's over, what happened will come back. They found the information minister. He worked over there before. Then the moment his job over, he came back here. He was here, living here until they just call him again. That is why they will just curse. So we need to look, anybody that want to be honest, let us put all this stuff aside. You cannot have people that are just repatriating, going and taking job. They work, they don't have any commitment to the country.
2 minutes.
Then they
Mr.
leave.
Tower, you have 49 seconds.
Stop this. Yes, I'm really upset about this stuff.
I know, and I see where you go with it. Tomorrow, you should also join Tower on point. He's going to be there making a point. Evans is going to be there. Mr. Nama is going to be there, and who knows? Dr. Allen will be there. But Evans, you're closing.
Shameless plug. I'll be hosting tomorrow. Jerome will be away, so join
my
us
favorite brother.
4 p.m. Eastern.
What? Oh yeah.
Look, let me say this, right? I'm not even angry with the Liberian government. I think the administration here is a complex, transactionary, administration, that wants something for something, And I think Liberia has benefit. Can you imagine if Liberia had to go to Ghana or to Sierra Leone for visas, to a foreign country? Have we been put in that advantageous position? So in some ways, dealing with an unorthodox U.S. president and administration, the foreign administrator is trying his best to find favorable, footing for the Liberian people. And even though it doesn't, give us the pride, the pride to be a quote unquote sovereign country, and we're probably, seem to be kowtowing to the United States government, but we're playing a diplomatic game, And sometimes when a nation is more powerful than yourself, sometimes you got to carry water, a little bit of water for them. So we have to understand the world order. We're not on the higher totem, we're not on the higher end of the totem pole when it comes to the world order. So we have to, accommodate, and acquiesce to some of the whims of more powerful nations. Just it's the reality of our world. That's true. But lastly, I would say this on the issue of Sekou. As I stated earlier, it's a lesson to all of us, right? If some of us are start to do well in this country and are doing well, I'm an old Christian, young man. Be content, when you're content with what God bless you with, it goes a long way. When you're a greedy hunter and you're trying to kill all the animals you see around you, every opportunity you're trying to grab onto it and hold onto it, sometimes you lose everything. If your hands are full, you can receive more blessing. So sometimes when you have enough, be content. If you have a large organization in the United States making millions of dollars, why run to Liberia to go sit at the Freeport? Do you think you can make more money there by working a government salary, even though it's a highly paid job? But I'm sure you would have made more money here. So is it telling us that you had intent to steal and make triple times the money you would be making normally? Put yourself in a position now that you'll be exposed, because everybody here can be scrutinized. If they scrutinize you closely enough, maybe you miss something on your tax, you miss something on something on your HSA or something that it can catch you for if you're not careful in America. So I put the spotlight on yourself. So hopefully our brother Dukuly will come and clear his name, and maybe he can go back to his lucrative job and finish his 6 years there. But thank you, Mr. Jai. It was a great show. I like these Saturday shows. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nawe.
Thank you, Mr. Ja. Good show tonight. Thank you very much. Quickly, When we got on, we were talking about Martin Colley and whether what he's presenting should form the basis for any decision making by this government. Yeah. I think Martin, I have always taken some of his reporting, with a pinch of salt. But I think in this particular instance, I think most of what he has reported has come to pass, and so I think there's reason enough for us to pay attention to some of the stuff that he's reporting. I think what is lacking is a credible rebuttal that will convincingly contradict what he's reporting. We don't see that coming out of the government. I firmly believe that IG Coleman, right now, he's beleaguered. I think this man is besieged. I think he needs to take time away from the investigation. The president needs to take the investigation from him. I think he's compromised from all of the reporting we're getting and all of the dominoes that are falling around him, and for the president to continue to maintain him. I think it's a disregard to the electorate that elected this president. He needs to realize that. This is not his private farm he's running, where he's just getting the money and drink a cup of tea and say, okay, I'd still like you to go to a police station and go party. Now I'm seeing Sam Gay is also declaring a vote of confidence in Coleman. What does that have to do with anything? Who is Sam Gay to declare vote of confidence in anybody? And then it should mean something. Yeah, he's an EPS director. They ain't going to do an EPS. You got nothing to do with the police. So these people are fooling around, and they better take it easy because, like we keep saying, this is a very, very divided country. They didn't win a mandate. They won a very slim majority. Absolutely. They need to do a lot to assuage people and win people over. They're doing the opposite, So, but this investigation is moving. There's a lot that's coming at us, and I think we all need to pay attention. We're the opposition community who are watching. We if they don't handle this improperly, we're coming out in the streets. We wanted to not to seem to be politicizing it, giving it the space, to do what needs to be done. But they're taking us for granted. They're doubling down on this nonsense. Gregory Coleman is compromised. Why is he still declaring a vote of confidence in him? To do what? To do what? To investigate himself? Yeah, exactly. So, but thank you very much. Great show. Thanks to our audience. It's been very interactive tonight. We get good interaction when Wallow is not available. And I'm betting to pop out. We leave in 5 seconds. Don't can't tell nothing.
That's a person.
Yeah, thank you. I think it was a great show, and I want to say thanks to Kadiatu for calling. We look forward to more interaction with her. And thanks for those who follow us tonight, and thanks to the entire panel. Look, I think when it comes to the port managing director, Dukuly, he shouldn't take this thing for granted. Like I mentioned, Ellen Kukrum, I mentioned Dr. Daniel Cassell, and I think, look, these people, when it comes to tax dollar, they don't play with it. The first time I said this, and people say, oh, nothing happened, no investigation, it's just journalistic report. And then they trash it now. They're telling us some of the facilities have been closed. Those facilities that are closed, it tells you that people have started digging into them already. They will not just close it and leave it. They're going to close it to look into it. I mean, they have probable cause to start digging. And once people start digging, they will not stop. And the thing about it is that we often forget to know that, look, sometimes it's unintentional, but there will be pieces of missteps along the way, and people capitalize on it. It just takes a little thing to pull the rug from under you. So I think Dukuly should step aside from that port authority to not embarrass our country, take a leave, come home, put his house in order. Even if he's not the one managing the institution because it's under him, then he come and give support to the team that's working here and make sure that they can set the place in order while they are being investigated or prepare themselves for any major investigation. He shouldn't wait until he gets sanctioned or dragged to court, and then it is used for political scandal against the president or the country. On the issue of Martin, I think Martin is doing a good job. When we tell people, say no stone will be left unturned, it doesn't mean we'll find anything under the stone. But the fact is that we got to turn all the stone over. Right? That's why they call no stones will be left unturned. You turn all the stone over, whether something under it or not, the stone is suspicious, turn it over. Yep. And now we will look under it, and if it's clear, move on. And then we move to something else. But Gregory has not given us a chance to move on, because as long as he sits there and there's serious penetration of the cartel in the government, not getting over him is not going to make us to leave him. And I can assure the Liberian people, we're continuing to dig on Gregory for dig until you find the jika there. The jika may be there somewhere. It might be on a small toe or on the big toe. We'll have to find the jika. Because when you have jika in the sand and you are playing the sand with barefoot, there's a possibility you got jika in your toe. Right? It may not also be here for us to see it, but it's there. We'll find it. It's just a matter of time. Look, on the US thing, I would say, look, we are a hospitable country, but listen, families are being torn apart. Children are being torn apart from the fathers and the mothers. Wives are being torn apart from their husbands. Husbands being torn apart from the wife. We cannot be seen to be facilitating gross human rights violation committed by the United States of America. And I would say this for a fact. Liberia did not coward. Liberia did not cower to colonialism when all of the other lands of Africa were being fought over and taken as colonial trophy. We did not cower. We stood up. The Lone Star. We stood up. We shone bright. And we fought for the independence of other countries. And we need to show the United States of America that we may not have all we have to be the kind of country we want to be, but we are not cowards in the face of the abuse of human rights. And I will stop there, Dennis. Thanks for the show.
Thank you. Mr. Carter.
Hey, Dennis, thank you for having me here. It's been a while since I started coming back regularly, so it's good to be here. There's an angle I want to close on that I think I wanted to make earlier that I didn't get to make. And this is basically the image of the country that is out there right now. 23 years ago, we came out of a civil war. That label has been on us as a country that come out of a civil war, right? And it's whether you want to look at it that way or not, it has discouraged a lot of investors from going into that country. Just when you think we were turning the curve and making a little bit of shift to shedding that label of civil war, where we're supposed to put ourselves on a different trajectory, here we are. We're picking up a country that's affiliated with drugs, right? Every time shooting ourselves in the legs, right? 2018, we started with this drug issue. Up to now, we're still in it. And every year, every administration has gotten bigger, right? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because something that is near and dear to my heart. These kind of cases in the media of a country being affiliated with drugs, where we're politicizing it discourages foreign direct investments. As a country that want to turn the corner, shed your civil war label and now put yourself on a trajectory, all of a sudden we're picking up affiliation with a country that is affiliated with drugs. It turn away investors. People want to invest in your country. The next thing they Google your country, here you are. You were in civil war 14 years ago, 23 years ago. All of a sudden, you're a drug infested country, right? This is, I say this because this is something that I care about a lot. We are competing for every investable dollar that goes in our region. Whether we believe, whether we are intentional about it or not, it is there, right? We're competing. The fact that we have a drug issue in the country where we're politicizing it, we don't have a predictable rule of law. This is what is being perceived out there. We don't have a predictable rule of law in our country. It would turn away people from coming into that country or having any confidence in us that they can bring their investable dollar in our country and it will be protected. You are showing in the international media that you cannot even investigate drug issue in your country, let alone why would I want to take my dollar and bring it in your country? I say this because this is something that with the other angle that we're not looking at, right? We came out of war 23 years ago. We're supposed to be turning the corner and putting ourselves on a trajectory to do something better. But here we are again. Simple drug case. We cannot investigate properly. We cannot show the world that we have predictable rule of law in our country, a rule of law in our country that people can come in and follow and trust that they know that this country is on a democratic path, that they can trust it. We're politicizing it again. So I say this, and this is something we need to look at. And this is something the president needs to look at, and his administration needs to look at, that they need to turn a corner, that they need to show the world that this is a country that came out of war and they're doing the right thing to put themselves in the right position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Dr. Mali.
Oh, thank you, moderator. I think we had a fascinating show tonight, and I must congratulate you for containing all the high grade gentlemen tonight. Back the issue back to Martin Colley. Martin Colley, he's a family man. He's a wonderful guy. He's a nice guy, and I respect his person. I respect his dignity. But I strongly believe that he has got some disjointed facts to present to make a compelling case for which I think the government should not act on it to have anybody removed or dismissed. So, but it would be a horrible thing if the IG would sit down and review himself, look at himself in the mirror, and try to do the honorable thing based on his conscience to decide what is best for the country and what is best for his office, but not on the basis of activist proclamation. And on the issue of Dukuly, I think Dukuly, as far as I'm concerned, I have no bone with him right now. Assuming I was his advisor, I would not ask him to recuse himself. The state of Minnesota is supposed to make a decision. If he will be charged, then I will find myself in a leadership position to talk to him to recuse himself, rather than asking. It would be premature to ask him to recuse himself at this particular time when people are still speculating, information are coming up, caviar material are coming up, and therefore I should recuse myself. I see it to be a bit premature. I won't do that. On the issue of the deportees, as other panelists said, I completely disagree. Uh, I think it portrays that Liberia is a dumping ground and Liberia is still a stepchild, and there's no respect for our government. Uh, I don't know, we're doing it because of the money or we're doing it because we are humanitarian, even though the open door policy kicked in since 1944. But I think it's about time to shut the door on our open door policy. It doing more harm than good. And lastly, I just want to make one point of correction here. When Evie said, I said a Liberian were going after Dukuly, I said there is a possibility some Liberian may be going after Dukuly to undermine him, and I also suffer the same fate. Some Liberian challenged me here. There was something I had to go to court. So no. I was coming from that background. So I said there could be possibility.
Thank you.
Yes. So I just wanted to make that clarification for our listening audience. And thank you.
Clarification taken. Mr. CA.
See you muted.
Gentlemen, thank you for your participation tonight. A big thanks to our audience, those who stayed with us, those who were here and even left and watched for some time, and those who share. Want to say thank you. This is Focus on Liberia. We educate, we elevate, and promote everything Liberia. Our journalism here is about accountability because you can't go wrong with accountability, right? You see on the screen here, we have focusonliberia.com. When you get up in the morning, you want to know what's happening in Liberia. You want to read, an article from the new progressive commentator of Focus on Liberia, Dr. Clarence R. Pearson. Go there. You will get opinion. You will get perspective. So we are running an online newspaper. For some people similar to Front Page, but ours is the best in the nation. Let me repeat, ours is the best in the nation in every respect. It is focusonliberia.com. It is not www.focusonliberia.com. It is just focusonliberia.com. And that will be my closing. And that's it. Thank you. I'm in Dukuly. It is about 2:31 a.m. and you guys kept me up here and I'm not complaining. Dennis, it's over to you.
You're in a penthouse out there with the AC. We know you're enjoying life.
Thank you, gentlemen. I want to thank our viewers as well. We're doing this for our country. Tomorrow, you should also tune in 2 o'clock, a new day with Priscilla Jenny Mambella. That's the new day. It's about all the women issue, the advocacy, gender equality, and everything else. Priscilla is a fighter and an advocate. Also at 4, you want to join us for On Point with the former unabashed and unapologetic sedition. But that's Mr. Jerome Gamer. Tomorrow, Jerome is going to be away and he's going to be replaced, or he's standing for him tomorrow will be the veteran progressive J. Victor Namwe.
Hey, the CMC boss.
And he's doing his best to tell the progressive story, even though sometimes he can mix it with a CMC story, but that's okay.
And a renounced chemist. Oh my God.
Yeah, do join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, please.
Yeah, 4 p.m. And then all this, you heard people talking all over the place, but tomorrow at 7 p.m., the legal minds will be here and break down what's going on. Another thing I heard, right, the legal minds will talk about is who can give authorization for even drugs to be burned. Is it the court? Is it the police? Is it justice ministry? Because you're burning somebody's stuff now. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Join us at 7. At this time, we're going to close with a song that says, "We are all Liberians." Whether you believe the 1,200 deportees are there to help the country, or it's a good thing for the country or bad thing for the country, we are all Liberians. Let's do our very best to make our country the glorious land of liberty. Have a good night and God bless.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.